Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
They but one Razorback.
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field out.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
All right, let the madness begin. Really, I guess it started yesterday with some of the conference tournaments, the first game of the week. It's kind of mostly the teams that finished in the bottom 4 or the bottom 2, but a lot of the conference tournaments getting underway today. So championship week, more like championship week and a half for men's basketball, more like championship 2 weeks for women's basketball, and it all gets started, really, in my eyes, today. Good morning, Matt Jones. Good morning, Wolf, Will Whitson. How are you guys doing this morning?
Yes, sir. Good to be here. This is a Thursday, right? We on a Throwback Thursday?
I felt like I'd already forgotten what day it was yesterday. I think I called yesterday Tuesday. So yeah,
it was a fun day yesterday.
Yeah, I felt like I limped through 3 hours.
Adventurous. It was very adventurous.
It was, but we made it through. I think I've got all of the little things that were the gremlins in the equipment figured out today. So yeah, it ought to be a little more of a smoother 3 hours here on halftime today. Plus, the basketball team won a game. You got spring practice starting today. Women's basketball in action tonight against Auburn to try to advance in the SEC women's tournament. Maybe a baseball game tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know if the weather looks like it'll be nice enough, but you'll probably be able to get at least Saturday and Sunday in no problem. Why shouldn't things go better today than they did yesterday? Because there's actually something fun to talk about, right? Which includes a really weird boxing match. Did you see this about Jake Paul and Mike Tyson signing to fight July 20th on Netflix at AT&T Stadium in Arlington?
Wild, huh?
No kidding.
I mean, you got to think for technology and scientists, and I mean all the shots and all the stuff they're putting in their body. Because Mike Tyson's got to be 60 years old. That can't be natural.
He's 57.
57. He's going to get in the ring. It's like, bro, I mean, Mike Tyson does what he wants, obviously, but you're 57, man.
You would think he might be fighting somebody else who's like 55 or 50, like a senior man's boxing match. Yeah, I've got some instances of other 57 versus 29-year-old matches, which is basically what that is. It's a 57-year-old who is on the short list of greatest heavyweight champions of all time, and 29-year-old Jake Paul, who's had all of, I think it's 10 or 11 boxing matches. He's been good. I mean, he's won. I think he's lost only once. So, but man, that's just kind of craziness to think about.
It makes me think of golf a little bit, because golf's the only sport where you had a guy named Tom Watson a few years ago.
Yeah,
that made a run in a major. Freddie Couples at Augusta after the age of 50. So golf, you can kind of have it, and you can kind of catch lightning in a bottle for a little bit, but it's not sustainable week in, week out. But yeah, once you, it's a young man's game.
I would have thought maybe you lose a little bit of that lightning in the fist once you get into your mid to late 50s. But then again, look, I'm not a guy who's throwing punches. I don't get punches thrown at me. I just know the way I look at it is kind of like you looked at it. That's Mike Tyson. Just let him do what he wants.
Like, right.
Within reason,
yeah.
You know. He seems to have, mellowed out a little bit in his middle to older middle age.
He's on that Jake Plummer diet.
It's exactly right. Heck, he does a podcast about which he basically smokes a blunt throughout the entire thing. Might help a little bit to chill himself out. So that'll be fine. Know what I'm doing on July 20th. I have no clue what else is happening on Earth on July 20th, but I know that I'll be watching.
You're sold.
That.
You bought in, huh?
No kidding.
Yeah. All right.
Some are thinking that it could be one of the most heavily viewed boxing matches ever, because it's not a pay-per-view. Well, I mean, it is, but you got to have a Netflix subscription, and a lot of us do. So I don't have to put any extra effort into it. The stream better not freeze. or have a weak stream. You know, if you're 57, sometimes that can be a problem. We don't need a weak stream for the 57-year-old versus 29 boxing match. Yeah, but how about basketball last night, Matt? That's nice to see. It's good to see a win at home. Good to see a win over a team that had beaten you to start a little over a month ago in a game that got out of hand quickly. Good to see Arkansas have a different game plan other than to let the big tall guy knock down some threes, which I don't think anybody had planned for the first time around. So it's just nice to get a victory and good to see. I mean, Matt, they played well against Kentucky, at least offensively. They're in a stretch now. I wouldn't call it a purple patch the same way that we would describe what Caleb Battle is doing in terms of scoring. But this is the best basketball they've played this year. Maybe gives you a little bit of a boost going into Nashville. Although, I mean, you know for a fact you're playing the first day. You know that for sure. I don't know if you see anything that happened yesterday that gives you a hope that Arkansas can go into Coleman and beat an Alabama team that, although the regular season championship is now spoken for, so congratulations to the Tennessee Volunteers for that. You've got 4 teams that are tied for the number 2 seed in the SEC. Alabama's one of them, so that game will mean a lot to the Crimson Tide on Saturday. And yes, oh, by the way, it'll be their senior day too.
Man, what a show! What a performance! We'll get the Wolf to play backdoor man by the doors because the backdoor cuts were open. We weren't necessarily the Princeton's offense with the spread, with the floor spacing that they do, but we were backdoor cutting all day. I don't know why LSU was overplaying, but because Arkansas is not really that talented at the 3-point line. And they kept overplaying, and bam, we kept backdoor cutting them. You got to give credit to Coach Muss, watching film, figuring out a game plan. Thought the game plan was perfect on the offensive side. We did whatever we wanted all night. It was fun. It was a joy to watch. I thought it was the Hogs' best game. They had a 6-minute stretch in the second half that they kind of lackadaisical. They were kind of, lollygagging a little bit, but they fought through it. It happens. And I thought just top to bottom, I thought it was their best game. Offense, defense, rebounding, fast break, passing the ball. I think they had 18 assists. But the backdoor cut was open all game long.
Around the rest of the SEC, A&M won a must-win game if they're going to get off the bubble against Mississippi State. They still need another win, I think, in both of our eyes. Kentucky stays hot, beating Vandy without any trouble, but it's really all about Tennessee. Volunteers are on a streak right now, and I don't just mean the 7 games in a row they've won. I mean the teams that they've beaten. I mean they've beaten a bubble team in A&M easily. They beat a really good Auburn team in a high-scoring game. Took care of Alabama at Coleman, and then defeat South Carolina's best team since either their best or their second best team in the last 25 years in a rocking Colonial Life arena. And now all they got to do is beat Kentucky, and then they win 4 games in a row against teams that know that they're in the tournament and matter probably seeds 1 through 4. That's what I take from this right now. Tennessee, now look, I don't think they've clinched a number 1 seed because there are some other teams that still have records that are somewhat identical to the Volunteers. Those top 3 seeds and the number 1, 2, and 3 pretty much look like they're spoken for with Houston, UConn, and Purdue. But Arizona certainly has a resume.
They play UCLA tonight. I know UCLA is not as good tonight, but I think you're right, Phil. Every game matters. Arizona taking on UCLA tonight.
Yeah. Iowa State still has a chance. They've got Kansas State to close out the regular season, and North Carolina and Duke. So that's for certain. I mean, this will be one of those SEC tournaments, Matt, where Tennessee's probably going to need to make it to the last day in order to, in their mind, clinch a number 1 seed. And then a lot of it will also have to do with what happens on Championship Sunday. Who wins the Big 12? Who wins the ACC? Because it does seem that Houston's in the Big 12. I guess I forget about that a little bit. Do you get a second number 1 seed out of that league? Does the Pac-12, where this year they don't have really that many good teams, does the champion of the Pac-12 make it as a number one. But I think there's going to be some intrigue as far as that last number one seed is concerned, Matt. But right now, I mean, I still don't think there's another team in the country that's playing any better than the Tennessee Volunteers.
No, it's pretty man. The teams in the top six, Phil, they have two combined home losses. The six teams in the top six right now, man. They kind of set yourself apart in college basketball. That home court, away court. These teams that protect their home and don't have any losses at home, they're going to be scary in March.
Well, halftime on this Thursday, and everything seems to be working much better here through the first segment. We've got Bob Holt, hour number 3. This is a little bit of a different day because there are Razorback football players that are talking to the media right now, and that would also include Bob Holt. So we talked with Bob at about 1:15. Brett Dolan coming up in about an hour. Talk about this Arkansas McNeese baseball series that are coming up. That is supposed to start tomorrow, but again, the weather's not looking great for baseball tomorrow. See if there's any announcement about that later today. And nobody coming up in the next segment, so we will be focusing in on Arkansas and LSU and the Caliph Battle Purple Patch, which continues. And wondering, Devo wasn't on the court very much on senior day. 877-377-6963 to get with us, and halftime is right back.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
A lot of batters have been striking out lately. Don't do that. Hit a home run with Wheeler Power Sports and the Slingshot by Polaris. They're going to make a donation to charity for every strikeout by our favorite college baseball team for the month of March and for every new Slingshot sold by Wheeler Power Sports. So join the fun and get out on the open road on a new or pre-owned Polaris Slingshot. Check them out online at WheelerPowersports.com or stop by and see them at 901 North 11th Street in downtown Fort Smith.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine. On North 11th Street is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle. Also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Soon, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle. 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith. 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leaf-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259. Call the Gutter Guy.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. West Ark Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact West Ark Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drain, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. West Ark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call West Ark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Oh.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Back on Halftime. Sometimes the stuff during the commercial break can be better than the show. No, you can't know what it was we just were talking about. You're not
the
allowed
Lizard
to.
King.
Sorry. Yeah, the Lizard King. That's right. I've got a theory about the Lizard King and our producer that I'll break out for you later on. We got the Wolf, Will Whitson, with us in studio today instead of the C Unit. Oh, man. I knew that Eddie from Amity was going to make a call because he sent a text in 9 minutes after the show started today. He says, don't ever say Muss is leaving again. You know what I mean. I'm not exactly sure what he means. He gave us a call here, too, on the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. I'm just going to venture a guess, Eddie, that I know I brought it up in the first segment yesterday, but that was just based upon a tweet, like a cryptic tweet from Kevin McPherson from Hogville. It's all I was doing. It's like, people say there's smoke signals here and there, and then they don't give you any information about it. But I don't think he's leaving. Do you?
I hope not. Dang it, man! I remember Mike Anderson. And, God love him, but dang it, he just didn't talk basketball like Muss does. But I just wanted to throw my vote in, and my support to please Devontae Davis come back. He's an anchor. He is an anchor for the Hog basketball team. He's going to be his whole career. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay, appreciate that, Eddie. Thank you. So it's like, you didn't want Muss to leave. He doesn't want Debo to leave. Okay, sooner or later, one of them will be gone, and then probably both of them at some point. Just how things work. Debo was only out there for 11 and a half minutes. I don't know. I guess I'm surprised, but that's only. I shouldn't be surprised because the ebb and the flow of who gets minutes this year, but, you've pretty much settled in on your 8-player rotation. Debo's part of it. You don't give minutes anymore based on the fact that it might be senior day. It's not a thing. He didn't start, but I guess it would be tough to argue against the guys who got the bulk of the minutes, which would be Battle, Ellis, Mackay, and Jeremiah Davenport.
Yeah, Phil, I'm a big time Devo fan. I was surprised that he didn't get to start one. I was kind of surprised he only played 11 minutes. On the offensive side, like on the three he took, I don't know if you watched the game. He kind of forced a couple issues, and then the three he took, there's nobody by him. There's 15 seconds on the shot, and it's like take 2 dribbles up, and you still could have got the 3 off. But there's something's clicked over on his offensive side where he's not really. It's almost like he's not enjoying himself. I look at it. A lot of other players out there smiling and having fun. I don't really see a smile on Devo's face right now for some reason, and that's just I don't know anything. It's not like I know anything, but you just kind of notice his body language is a little down.
Well, I mean, I think. Look, there have been moments where, to use the term that the kids will use these days, he's up in his feels quite a bit. I mean, that happened last year. When he left the program. Who knows the situation when he left this year, but can get up in those feels sometimes. But this also goes along with the sort of the ebb and the flow. I mean, it's like remember when the San Francisco Giants won the World Series 3 times, all in an odd year? Every other year they win the World Series under Bruce Bochy. This is what you got going on with Devo as far as the minutes are concerned right now. He returned against Georgia, played pretty consistently for 3 games, 6 minutes, 40 seconds against A&M. The next week, 34 minutes against Mizzou, then 12 minutes against Vandy, 26 against Kentucky, and only 11 and a half against LSU. It's just, but it hasn't just been him. Just a month ago when the Hogs lost to LSU, Matt, Caleb Battle played, 8 minutes and didn't score. Now you can't even imagine him not starting and not even scoring 25 to 30.
The thing that Battle's done, and I've been screaming this from the mountaintop since SEC play started. I marked it down in the book. I take notes when I watch these games. I noticed 3 different times, Phil, he's open for a 3-point shot. He waits to the defender to come to him, fakes it, and then drives. And you're just like, 3 weeks ago, he would have just been shooting that shot right away. So I think he's evolved. I think both coach and player are on the same page a little bit better now. I think they're more comfortable with each other. But 45% of his points in this purple patch are coming from the charity stripe.
That's right.
That's his thing, man. I've been screaming. His thing is he's so athletic. He can get to the hoop. He jumps into your body, kind of creates the contact himself, and then is able to still get his shot off. He's been a joy to watch the last couple of games, and that doesn't mean you can't take a 3 when it's there. But his mind, that needs to be your last thought is your 3-point shot.
Well, I think they call him the 3-level scorer, but there's 4 levels because there's anything behind the 3-point line. There's the mid-range game. There's getting to the rack,
in the paint,
and then there's getting to the foul line.
Absolutely.
And he's done it all. He scored 34 and 29 in the last 2 games with 3 total 3-pointers.
Set an SEC record on a 4-game conference patch. Jody Meeks had the record, if you remember, from Kentucky. He was drafted by the Lakers, played for a few years, and just a bona fide scorer. So he eclipsed that. So that's he's number 1 on the list for a 4-game stretch.
But he's also gotten better in a lot of other ways, right? He's rebounding now. He's defending
His
better.
anticipation on defense, I think, is better too. He's had a couple blocks. He was able to get steals. And you talk about a smile on their face. You look around. He's got the biggest smile out of everybody.
That's exactly right. So, so he's at 141 points in the last 4 games. 41% of those points coming from the foul line.
That's it, man.
It's not a fluke. That's 58 points in 4 games on made free throws.
He's the best free throw shooter I can remember. Percentages can be different because of how you play, but what I mean is he's the best free throw shooter I can remember in the last 20 years. I'm sure there might be somebody else, but for his minutes and what he's doing constantly, I'm not talking about going 3 for 3 or 3 for 4 every day. Being able to go 17 to 18, 14 to 15. It's just unbelievable what he's been able to do at the charity stripe.
Well, and it's like, don't let him get to the foul line. You can appreciate the idea of the other coaches saying the same thing. It's like the same idea as defend without fouling. Well, that's a little more difficult to put in practice than it is to just say it. But like a guy like Battle here this is 4 games in a row. So they're trying to not foul him. And it's like you're saying, he wants the defender to come over. He wants to be challenged by a defender if he's wide open because he knows he's got a way to get to the free throw line where it's basically 2 easy points for him. 120 shots in these last 4 games. Almost as many free throws as field goal attempts. 62 field goal attempts, 58 free throws. So, moving forward, he says at the postgame, and he said on on I forget the name of the kid, but he does the driving around show on YouTube. He had Battle in the car, and he says he's a Razorback to the end. He's coming back next year. Like that, it sounds like his decision's already made. Musk said it's up to him. So here is a guy that, I mean, look, if you've made the point about this, Matt, and you're right. There's so many other things you got to do as a basketball player, and up until recently, maybe Battle's been that proverbial one-trick pony. But he also, let's just say that he struggles to defend, struggles to rebound, all of those things. The scoring that he's giving you right now is so special that you got to have him on the floor. But it goes along with the other things, too. It's like I think he's got to feel better about himself as a basketball player overall. You know, is it the chicken or the egg? Like, is buying into the defense leading to, you know, a little more confidence of his ability to get to the foul line? I just don't know where it comes, but he's just playing as a much better player. And Matt, he right now looks like a guy that you might build around for next year's roster, along with maybe if you can get Mark to come back.
Yeah, I think Mark is our most complete player as far as offense and defense. But what Battle's been doing, I've been writing that down too. But I've noticed his anticipation, his knowing where to be. And it's about your basketball IQ. It's like working smarter, not harder. It's being in the right spot where you can make the defensive play, being in the right rotation where you can be over. And it's not about making hero plays. And then on the offensive side, he's just making the right play. You can't stay in front. One guy can't stay in front of him. You're gonna have to double team him, and then it sets up everybody else. And then Mitchell. I mean, his passing has been so good.
Yeah.
They had 18 assists. I thought they moved the ball well. It wasn't just Battle. I know Battle did his thing, but it wasn't just like, oh well, it was just Battle. I think the role players. Davenport played well. L. Ellis. He's been playing better. You don't know what you're getting to. And then the other thing, we didn't see Landon Blocker. You know, I thought that we would continue to see Landon Blocker, but no, excited for L that he's been playing well as well.
Well, it was fun to watch yesterday, and truthfully, I mean, I wasn't able to watch the Kentucky game because of the Arkansas-Murray State baseball game, but I know that was a fun game to watch. And I mean, you get two teams going over 100 points, maybe you bemoan your defense, but over 200 points in a basketball game at least is going to be entertaining in a regular season, not an all-star game maybe. And, I mean, like Muss had said yesterday, I mean, I think the Tennessee game, which was ugly from the start, look, Tennessee right now is playing the best in the SEC, and it's not even close. There's a lot of teams that they've done that to and would have done it to that day. But, you know, there may be like, what was there, an 8 or 9 minute stretch against Vanderbilt, which pretty much cost you that game, and you should never be losing to Vandy at home, but they're playing basketball that's at least worth watching. If you want a good game, like you turn it on, you want to see him win, but you don't want to feel like you've wasted your time and watch a blowout. And I just don't see that right now. And for a while, that's exactly what was going on. Like I would have not blamed you for not turning the television on, but at least it's entertaining now. Playing hard, playing well.
Man, I was so excited that Lawson yoked on somebody. Do the kids still say yoked on? I don't know if that's still a thing, but. He stole the ball at half court and threw it down. That was so cool to watch. I thought Brazil he had a little thing going early, and then they attack him on defense. They get him in pick and rolls. They get him in switches, and that's all they did whenever he was out there. So coach had to take him out. You talk about, you know, being able to play. You still have to be competent, and that's what Battle is. You know, on the defensive side, you can't be a liability out there, and Brazil's still a liability at times on the defensive end.
The kids say you get yoked on, like Nikola Jokic.
Joker.
I'm not sure Jokic is doing much dunking.
Yeah, he's a below the rim player too. That's like Lawson. That's why it was so cool to see. I mean, he didn't jump 7 inches off the ground, but he's still rah.
I don't know. Getting yoked on seems like something incredibly personal, or it could go back to the chicken or the egg conversation.
Maybe it's a Chef Ramsay thing.
Yeah, not eating any raw eggs. Thank you very much. 877-377-6963 is our McClarty Daniel hotline. We'll take your calls. We'll read your texts when we come back in a moment. And yes, 57-year-old versus 29-year-old in the squared circle, and it might actually count. Stay with Halftime. Right back.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text ENERGY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text ENRGY to 42424. That's ENERGY to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
What's on your to-do list today? Does it include looking for a new piece of heavy equipment? If so, come by and see us at Sharp Equipment today and explore our latest offers and deals as a Wacker Newson dealer. Whatever your day brings, whatever job it is you need to complete, Wacker Newson Equipment is up to the task, and Sharp Equipment is here to help. Stop in Central Hydraulics and see us at Sharp Equipment, located at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or give us a call at 479-242-1406.
Husbands, sons, daughters, honor your wife or mother for Mother's Day at the inaugural Mystery at the Fort Legacy Ball, benefiting Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center on May 11th at the U.S. Marshals Museum. Buy your tickets today for this 1940s mystery dinner, coupled with an exciting night of investigative entertainment and lively dancing with the band Who Shot JR. For more information, call 479-452-2260.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren, the best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Need to lose 100 pounds this year? Don't restrict your diet. Forget joining a gym. Instead, lose the weight of that cheating spouse of yours. At Mock Legal Solutions, there is no hourly billing. You pay one flat fee for your divorce. Call today, 479-769-1505. And let's be honest, it's closer to 200 pounds, right? Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
Love and marriage, love and marriage.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, 2-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, split. Jim, can you record the talk? Record that, Jim. Bet.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs in Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Back on halftime here. All right, I got into it briefly in the first segment, and this has to catch anybody's eye, even if you're not a boxing fan. Mike Tyson getting back into the ring on July 20th. Netflix will be where you can watch it against Jake Paul. I don't have Tyson's record up in front of me. What was the last? I think Paul didn't he have like he had a knockout of Nate Robinson in an undercard that had Roy Jones Jr. and Tyson at the top of the card in what was an exhibition.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he knocked Robinson out, like flat out. He knocked him down twice, and I think it was like a 20-second stretch, and the second one he didn't get up from. He's 9-1.
What's Nate Robb doing, bro? I mean,
no kidding. No kidding.
Little husky.
But some of the guys that Paul has fought on his rise to whatever you want to call it have been mixed martial arts fighters, like guys who are still fighting. Ben Askren, Tyrone Woodley, fought Woodley twice. Anderson Silva, who was I think 47 when he fought him, and most recently Nate Diaz. So I mean he's gotten into the ring with some real monsters, but they've had to be limited obviously in the way that they approach that sort of a match because it's just strict up boxing. Now you're going in against a guy like here's the thing about Tyson that we just remember the idea of him knocking boxers out like within a minute because he was so ferocious.
Back in '87 though, yeah.
Yeah, the guy was an incredible tactician. Now, I think he got a bit big for himself in the whole Buster Douglas situation there, but this was somebody that studied the history of boxing and what made each boxer great. So, it's like the idea of when we use the term all the time, the old man moves when it comes to basketball one-on-one. Can you use old man moves against a 29-year-old who is coming for your head? And that's his opportunity. I think Paul just got an opportunity here. If you beat Mike, I don't care what age he is, you'll be elevated in a lot of people's eyes.
Now, when he fought Roy Jones Jr., didn't they have headgear and body gear on?
I think so, because that was an exhibition.
Okay. So
now I think there's a difference. They got to figure out if this will be a pro fight or an exhibition.
I think it's more impressive what Manny Pacquiao is doing. He's trying to come back and fight in the Olympics in Paris, which that's going to be absolutely ridiculous if he's able to. He's 51 maybe or 40. He's a little bit younger than Tyson, but he was trying to come back and do the Olympics.
I went back and looked at the idea of a 57-year-old versus a 29-year-old. This would be like Deion Sanders attempting to cover Tyreek Hill. All right? Deion is 56. I think his birthday is coming up in a few months. Tyreek Hill is 29 years old.
Nobody can cover Tyreek Hill.
Now, could Deion have covered him when he was in his prime? Prime is prime.
Deion was the best cornerback I've ever seen play the game. As far as what you want out of a cornerback, it's so hard to cover people. But yes, Deion Sanders was the Darrell Green's up there. Your boy Rod Woodson, Darrell Revis. Rod Woodson was better because he could do more, like he would hit you so he could play safety later in his career. He's a different type of player, not necessarily the cover guy, but he's up there on the list for what. But Darrell Revis, Deion Sanders, I think those two. If I was starting a team, I'd tell you Randy Moss, Jerry Rice are my two receivers. Darrell Revis and Deion Sanders would be my two cornerbacks.
I think, didn't Deion have some toes amputated, so he won't be covering anybody anytime soon?
Him and C Movie, I think, are on the same shoe program.
Rod Woodson still has all 10 toes. He's 58 years old. Could you imagine Rod Woodson trying to cover Mike Williams, who is also 29? This is the same thing. This would be like 57-year-old Dikembe Mutombo trying to go one-on-one against Giannis. That's a 59-year-old or 57-year-old against a 29-year-old. People would you pay to watch that? You realize how many people will fill. This is AT&T Stadium. This is the home of the Cowboys. Will they sell the place out? the amount of people watching on Netflix will be I think a little larger than it would be to watch Dikembe go up against Giannis or Jokic or Embiid. They're all 29.
Is Jake Paul the prime? Is he the prime guy? The drink? Who's the prime? All the kids are drinking.
I think that might be him.
That's Logan Paul. That's his brother.
So they're taking over the world. I think that has something to do. Now,
and Logan also did some boxing too, right?
Yeah, he fought. Logan fought Floyd Mayweather.
Well, what was this? What kind of fight was this? Was this like
boxing?
Did they really hit each other? Like,
yeah, I don't remember what happened.
Floyd's a way more defensive fighter. He's kind of dodging lefts and right, but yeah.
Text coming in about this. Dan in Mount Ida says Woodson would just hit him at the line and knock him out. At that point,
you jam him up.
At that point, you might jam somebody a little harder than we see right now. Brandon in Paris says it'd be like watching Jordan with the Wizards, but he wasn't 57. What is MJ's age now? I don't want to look it up, but if MJ's age right now, could you potentially think about the idea of MJ against? Well, who's a 29-year? Because the 29-year-olds that I found that I picked up were Embiid, Jokic, and Giannis. And they're all big guys. So, but who would Jordan go up against and be like, yeah, he'd be able to take him?
I don't know.
He would go against, say, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. That's who he would. That's a two guard. That's a young two guard that you're saying in their prime. We all know who would win that. But right now, I think Shea could get MJ right now. Do you remember when MJ left and came back and the Bulls had drafted their number one overall pick, and he was in baseball. He showed up to practice and just wore him out but that's back when he was still young and
he was like in his late 20s or early 30s.
He was in his 30s then. Yeah.
I mean, these are because Tyson's peak of his career was a fairly long peak. I mean, it was from 87. I don't remember if he won his first title in 87 against Trevor Berbick, and then up until the rape. When he raped, I forget which pageant winner, and ended up going to jail all those years. It really did kind of come crashing down against Buster Douglas. But this is the late 80s into the early 90s when he was dominant. And so you look back at the dominant players of those eras. I looked at baseball. This would be like Greg Maddux pitching against Shohei Ohtani right now, which I think would actually be fun to watch. I've got a 75-year-old father who still pitches real hardball. We think, and I'm going to guarantee that, I'm not just going to think, I will guarantee you, Nolan Ryan can still throw 80 to 82 miles an hour. All right? Shohei Ohtani can hit something that's coming in at 102. We're talking a different thing. Kurt Schilling versus Corey Seager. Tom Glavine versus Randy Arozarena. Anybody lining up to watch this? Boxing stands alone, man, but it's also the most vicious of the sports.
I think the main thing that you got to say, though, about this is the fact that Tyson can even get in the ring and that he's in shape enough to get in the ring. Now, he may have a little extracurricular activities going on, but, I mean, the fact that he's able to even think about getting in the ring is pretty impressive.
I remember Ali. Now, this isn't it's a little similar to Ali, but Ali was real professional fights, and he would just take hit after hit. Yeah. And then you saw the dimension. You saw what happened later on. I don't want to see that. Like, I felt like you're watching it, and you're just like, oh, man, that's going to I don't know that Tyson, if he's even thinking about that, but his age, taking those hits. But to me, and what I mean by this is Jake Paul or Logan Paul, those are amateur. It's amateur hour. They're not professional boxers like what Ali was going against in his career, in his time. But still, getting hit like that, man, that can't be good for you.
I think Ali's last fight would have been against Larry Holmes, and they were sparring.
Larry
partners
Holmes,
for years.
if he hits you, oh my goodness, Jake Paul and Jake Paul could never. If you put those two in a ring, Larry Holmes would wipe the floor with Jake Paul.
Let's see. I mean, Holmes is 74. That's the same age that Ali was when he died. They were separated by like 13 years. We're talking about a much larger separation too. The thing is too, it's like, I think Tyson still spars. He obviously still keeps himself in shape. So I really can't wait to see this.
It won't be a lot of moving. It'll be a lot of he'll be walking right towards you, and he'll throw some punches. Yeah, you want to see does it last more than 3 rounds? That would be kind of because he's going to get in there and throw some.
Well, it's a little bit of the same way that I felt when the Travelers had Jose Canseco at a boxing match against Gary Hogan. I forget what year it was, but for those who don't remember Gary Hogan, I mean, he was a TV sports guy in Little Rock for years, and then was the UALR baseball coach and was their a longtime assistant athletics director. He literally boxed Jose Canseco on a squared circle built at home plate before a Travelers game, like circa 2008 or 2009. Like Canseco's rise was the same timing as Tyson's rise. I mean, he was Rookie of the Year in '86. He was MVP in '88. And then there I am in a tuxedo T-shirt talking with Jose Canseco in a locker room, asking him if it's okay that I, is this all right, all this stuff I've put here in your bio because I'm going to introduce you. I'm thinking to myself, there's no way that this is reality. There is no way that I am not asleep and dreaming this. It's the same way I'd feel because when Tyson, I remember watching those matches with my dad at age 10 or 11 on the ABC Wide World of Sports on Saturdays. It'd just be like, this guy could eat these boxers for lunch, and the guys he's beating are the best in the world. And now I'm looking at just fighting a guy who's 28 years younger than him, and I actually want to watch it. I have trouble putting these two things together.
Yeah, I don't know. Be careful. It'd be like watching Robert De Niro in The Irishman. It was kind of, you're like, oh, he's gotten old, hasn't he?
Well, that's a 3-hour movie too. It's like this match is not lasting 3 hours. Please tell me it's not lasting 3 hours. Oh goodness. Hey, you still got a little time to get your sales tax paid in full on any new 2023 model that remains in stock at Crabtree RV Center. Just a few days left because a lot of these models are already gone. You get your sales tax paid in full at Crabtree RV Center when you purchase any remaining new 2023 model that they have in stock. You know where Crabtree RV is located. It's right there at I-49 and I-40 beside the Cracker Barrel in Alma and always online at CrabtreeRV.com. More halftime in just a moment.
Do you need an oil change but don't have time to drop off your car? S&J Express Lube will let you sit in your car while they do the work, and it only takes about 15 minutes with no appointment needed. Prices start at $35.99 for a 20-point inspection service. S&J Express Lube is open Monday through Friday 9 till 6 and Saturdays 8 till noon. You'll find them at 14818 Highway 71 South in Jenny Lind. Check them out on Facebook too. S&J Express Lube, your authorized Castrol dealer in Sebastian County. They are waiting on you now.
I know we're always on the go, heading to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh-made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
Walk-Ons is always a win. Whether it's a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner, Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and coming soon to Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
At A&P Auto Sales, we take pride in the way we do business. We focus 100% on our customers and believe car buying should be a fun, hassle-free experience. We will work with your budget and offer a dependable car at a price you can afford. Bank financing is available with approved credit, or cash is always accepted. Hop on over to 1202 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren and choose from a wide selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Contact us today at 353-1246 or check us out online at apautosales.net. Find your next car at A&P Auto Sales in Van Buren.
Hello, This is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $425 off of your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Are you stuck in a paper jam of printer prices? Paper cuts from budget cuts? Don't throw in the towel. Call Dixie Digital Imaging and dive into our new and used inventory blowout. We're slashing prices on top-of-the-line Xerox, Brother, and Epson printers and multifunction devices. Gently used or brand new models that are tired of being in our warehouse. Don't miss out on these deals. Call 479-783-6600 for more details. Quantities and availability are limited. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
Hi, this is Melissa with True Grit Running Company. Is someone special to you missing out on life because of foot pain? Let's face it, if your feet hurt, you don't want to go anywhere. Give the gift of freedom. Check out our store for all kinds of options to benefit your special someone. We have perfect gifts for those suffering from a variety of foot issues, such as plantar fasciitis, bunions, tendonitis, diabetes care, neuropathy, or just tired and achy feet. Visit us today at True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Lucky I was Sharon got Sharita. She was Sharon's outlook on the topic of disease. Mikey had a facial scar and Bobby was a rapist. They were all in love with Diane. They were doing it. Tommy played piano like a kid out in the rain. Then he lost his leg in Dallas. He was dancing with the train. They were all in love with Diane. They were I don't mind if that's sometimes. I can taste you on my lips and smell. Cinnamon and sugar and soft spoken lies. Never know just how to look through people's eyes.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
SEC women's basketball tournaments in the second day. Texas A&M and Mississippi State underway in the early game. Kentucky and Tennessee are after that. Hogs play Auburn. That is a 5 o'clock tip-off. These teams matched up. Was about a month ago, February 4th, a little more than a month ago. A 74-72 Arkansas win in that ball game. That was a game that Talia Scott absolutely went off. Can't find the box score I had for it, but I know I'll find it once it comes time to it. But she's not here, so it's just like, Caleb Battle wasn't a factor against LSU a month ago. He certainly was a factor yesterday. Well, Talia Scott was pretty much the reason Arkansas beat Auburn the first time around. She's not here now, so somebody else going to have to step into that void. And then the winner gets LSU tomorrow. So I'm constantly told anything can happen in March when it comes to college basketball. I think you find that a little bit more in men's basketball than in women's right now. Certainly in the SEC, you have South Carolina and then LSU and then everybody else. Maybe you could throw Ole Miss in there as well. Ole Miss is playing really well right now too. But I wouldn't put them at the same level as South Carolina, and I wouldn't even put LSU at the same level as South Carolina right now. So, and then they get a week while the men's tournament switches over to Nashville. So 5 o'clock is when that game gets going. And, I don't think there's a way for the Razorback women's team to play their way into the NCAA tournament unless they find a way to shock everybody and win the SEC tournament. Finishing 4 games under in the SEC this year is not going to be enough. It'd be one of those things like in 2019, they made a real run here in Greenville. Even beat South Carolina in front of a crowd that was filled with Gamecock fans. Beat A&M when A&M was, having a good run under Coach Blair, and then lost to Mississippi State in the championship game, but still ended up in the NIT because you make your resume in the regular season, not in the conference tournament. But they do need a win just to change the conversation and start feeling better, just to play well because it's been tough.
Is there any postseason aspirations for this team? I mean, not the NCAA tournament, but the NIT. There used to be an old BIC. I don't know if they still do that anymore.
There is a new women's tournament right now that the NCAA has created. This will be the first year, and it's a 32-team tournament that's called the WBIT.
There you go. Yeah.
The women's NIT actually is under a different organization, and that'll stay around. But it's no longer the second-level tournament. Now the NIT is the third-level tournament.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is how it works out. The first 4 out of the NCAA tournament on the committee's seeding are the first 4 in to the WBIT, and then they seed from there. And there's all sorts of, kind of esoteric rules about, some conference champions can get in under certain circumstances, others can't because you only have 32 bids. So it's a smaller tournament. I think they got a shot at that one. I think it would be a tougher tournament than I think playing in the NIT. And the Final Four for the new tournament is at Hinkle Fieldhouse, where Butler plays. That's where Hoosiers was filmed, and that's kind of a neat idea to play that thing there. But yeah, they'll be in one of those two. And here's the other aspect, too. I feel like their fate is sealed. No matter what happens here, I think, they're pretty much locked into either the BIT or the NIT. We move into hour number 2 of halftime in just a moment. This is when we'll have our guests joining us very, very soon. Brett Dolan coming up in about 20 minutes. Bob Holt at 1:15. And your calls and texts if you want to be a part of it at 877-377-6963. Stay with halftime.
Subiaco in Scranton, if you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco in Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
The best Tex-Mex and even better service is at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Every Friday is Fajita Friday, featuring their charbroiled steak and chicken. It's tender, full of flavor, and comes with all the fixins. Saturdays are for endless enchiladas with Joe's homemade enchilada sauce and all the beef, chicken, or cheese enchiladas you can eat. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Let the madness begin at 810 Billiards and Bowling. Make sure to join them for all your favorite games and enjoy specials like the game winner, your choice of pizza, 20 wings, and a pitcher of domestic beer for only $40. Or the three-pointer, your choice of pizza, 10 wings, and a pitcher of domestic beer for only $30. Or $10 buckets of beer. Join the mayhem at 810 Billiards and Bowling, 5609 Rogers Avenue, Fort Smith. Come for the food, but stay for the fun.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, occasional showers and thunderstorms are high temperatures this afternoon in the low to mid 60s. We're looking at wet, some stormy weather tonight, mid 50s. Occasional showers and thunderstorms as we head through Friday. Our high on Friday in the low to mid 60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today.
I hate everything you just said.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is halftime. Coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
They're hilarious.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect it. If I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
You both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. My heart, dog. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
But they were one Razorback.
Second half, very happy.
And vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Welcome into hour number 2, halftime on this Thursday afternoon. Yes, it is afternoon now. 877-377-6963 to get with us on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Remember, you get a great deal at any of McClarty Daniel's 6 locations in Springdale or Bentonville or online at McClartyDaniel.com. It was rainy here in Greenville yesterday, but today, man, this is a day to be outside. What's outside the windows and the ESPN Arkansas headquarters right now? I'm expecting a lot of rain today in our listening area and a lot tomorrow. Maybe enough rain where you got to bang the baseball game and move it to Saturday, but no announcements yet.
It's Drury, Drew Hill.
Dreary.
Yeah, he was the guy that played receiver for the Houston Oilers. It's a little Drew Hill out here today.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say you have what we had yesterday, but I don't think it's the exact same storm. Football practice started today, Matt. Day 1 of spring football. Well, it's not like the guys haven't been around each other for the last few weeks. Workouts, preparation for spring football. And is it exciting? Is it exciting when you're starting spring football, Matt? Or is this just kind of like an anticipation of let's make it through these 2 weeks and then we'll start worrying about the fall? I would imagine you just got to be excited to actually start, learning a playbook and getting everything set for what would happen after spring ball.
Yeah, it's a chance to compete. I had a year, I want to say it was going into my junior year, where we changed quarterback coaches, went from David Lee to Roy Whitkey. So you kind of got to learn each other, a little more film, so you know that you're going to put in some new things. You're going to change some verbiage. Stuff's going on in the meeting room, a lot of film. But, yeah, the thing you want to do as a player, as an athlete, I always liked on-field stuff. Let's get out on the field. Let's go out there and compete. Let's go out there and run around and get to see. I love seeing players make plays, whether it be a guy like a Tom Crowder or a Ken Hamlin coming up, Lawrence Richardson making a play in practice. You always like to see Marcus Monk as a freshman. The first time you get out there and he goes up and catches the ball in double coverage, you're like, you like to kind of see some of the freshmen. Who do you think's going to play a little bit? And most of the time, Phil, and I know there's competition and you get that, but there's 80% of the guys know who's starting. You kind of know who's starting right now. You kind of can see it. But there is a couple positions that'll be open, and so you want competition there. But
I feel like that about the offensive line. Like based upon who transferred in and who's returning, at least an idea of who 4 of those 5 starters will be. That's kind of the way I'm looking at the offensive line to go into this season. Barring an injury, I do think 4 of the 5 spots potentially are spoken for. And Josh Braun would be one of them at right guard. And look, I don't think that the guys who are transferring in from other Division I programs are transferring. Like, it's not like you say you are starting left tackle next year if you come in here. You tell them you get an opportunity to compete. But I think we'd be foolish to not expect that the Blackiestock and Carmona won't be your tackles, and that Addison Nichols won't be the starting center. So I do think, Braun coming back, he'll be there at right guard. I think left guard right now is the one position that's kind of up for grabs. And, man, I don't know if we knew that going into the season, coming after spring ball last year, because it felt like some jobs were won based on there wasn't anybody else that was better.
Yeah, you want to see some of the guys that got hurt last year that they're coming back, they're getting back into the fold. When you get hurt during the regular season, it can be a lonely spot sometimes when you're injured and on the sideline, and then you have all off season, and so those guys would be the most excited for spring ball, just to get out there and move around and a chance to compete.
Could see Patrick Kudas competing at guard, Amarian Harris maybe, Tykees Crawford. I know Harris and Crawford have played maybe a little more at tackle during their time here, so they might be competing at those positions too. But I would think that they'd have an opportunity at one of the guard spots. I think it's left guard that you're looking at. But out of all the position battles, Matt, I mean, look at me, running back is open, at least, like, I don't know if there'll be a bell cow right now, but guys to get carries. Who steps up into the wide receiver position, Armstrong and Tesla, and then kind of after that you wonder. And on the defensive line, if we look at all any of the issues that Arkansas had last year, it pales in comparison to the struggles on the offensive line. Like, that's got to be, of course, quarterback will get the headlines and probably the most conversation. I mean, that's just obvious when it comes to this sport. But, man, you got to get offensive line figured out. You wouldn't have brought in 3 Division I transfers if it had been figured out.
Got to get some speed. Last year's team was one of the slowest I can remember, especially on the outside. Armstrong has a little speed. Satania, I think, does, but you got to see if some of these other receivers coming in can run a little bit. I've never seen a team in the SEC. You got to be tough. You got to be physical. I get that. That's every football team. I've never seen a slow team in the SEC have any success. You gotta have speed. On the defensive side, in the backfield, on the outsides. If you don't have any speed in the SEC, you're not going to have success.
Let's go to the McLarty Daniel hotline. Charlie's here with us right now. What's up, Charlie? How are you?
What's up, Phil? I'm just hoping one day. Can you guys hear me well?
Yeah, you're loud and clear. You're loud and clear.
Well, you would get it if you live down here with all these darn trees. I mean, it's a tree every corner. Tree, 1,000 trees. It's insane. But anyway, so you guys are in Greenville, right? Enjoying Greenville?
I am in Greenville. That's right. Bright sunny day here at the Greenville Marriott, just waiting for 5 o'clock to roll around. Well, really waiting for 3 o'clock to roll around because that's when the bus leaves.
Well, yeah, Phil, I mean, you're speaking my language, man. The offensive line, look, I think part of, we talked about last year going into the year, and, man, I wanted to ask your opinion on this, too, because you've been around it so much. But, like, we thought our D-line, I'm not saying we overrated our D-line last year, but, I mean, they were kicking our offensive line butt, right, in practice and in camp, and everybody was hearing about these things. And, our D-line was solid last year. Now, was it great? No. But I think we kind of maybe somewhat overrated it a bit because of whose butts they were kicking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's be honest. I think obviously we did have one of the worst offensive lines I've ever seen in a long time at Arkansas last year. It was hard to watch for me because I know KJ is a good quarterback. I know we had some skilled guys. Man, I agree. You know, we needed to get a little faster, but, you know, you got to have time to let those guys get down the field too. So one of the things I think you're going to see is, Phil, you're right. That, to me, that is bigger. That's even bigger than quarterback. I think Bobby will figure quarterback out. That's how much I trust him and what he's done with quarterbacks in the past. We're going to figure that out. And this new rule that's probably going to pass that I think Irwin brought up about Bobby being in a headset all the way up until 15 seconds on the game clock. Like that could be some really good stuff right there. And I really also think too, Matt, you know, if you go in last year, we were all high on Enos, but it just didn't look like at times the guys knew what they were doing. And I don't think we'll see that with this offense. You know, I don't think there'll be guys, you know, receivers running in the same area. I don't think there'll be, if you're a running back and you ain't going to step in there and stick your nose in there and pick up the blitz, you ain't playing. That's the way I feel like Bobby feels. So, you know, I just think that's the biggest difference. Bobby Petrino, and I think he'll figure out quarterback. But, yes, Phil, offensive line scares the hell out of the tuna. It does. We got to figure that out. So, anyway, I was really excited last night for the basketball team, big win. And KB and JD, man, they're characters, man. Love listening to their post-game interview. But y'all have a good one, though.
Thanks, Charlie. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I would trust Petrino to figure out the quarterback position, too. I hope that they figured out the offensive line, because as good as your quarterback might be, if he's running for his life, doesn't have lanes to pass, what does it matter very much? We'll take more calls, get more texts as we go throughout halftime later on. Remember about Riley Farm Dental, general dentistry, braces, implants, cosmetics, and now same-day crowns available as well. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer at Riley Farm Dental, helping all their patients have a better life with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. They're at the entrance to Riley Farm off Highway 71 in Fort Smith, RileyFarmDental.com or 226-3500. We'll be...
Here's the 1-1. Swung on, skied in the left. That ball's hit pretty well, and it's gone. Brett Eibner's hit a home run, and the ball game's tied. Brett Eibner has hit a home run, and the ball game is tied. The Razorbacks down to their final out, and Eibner, for all his troubles this season, has just saved things.
Listen to every Razorback baseball game on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Let's see. Leaky faucet Tuesday. Water flooding the yard. Better put that down for the middle of the month when the bills aren't due.
Honey, what are you doing?
Planning our plumbing problems, of course.
You can't plan our plumbing problems, but you should plan our plumber.
What do you mean?
Like all important contacts, I keep Westark Plumbing in my phone. They're always there when we need them, and they don't overcharge since they know we don't plan our plumbing problems. Here, honey, here's their number.
646-5151. Thanks, babe.
Westark Plumbing. We keep you flowing.
With everyday low prices on top brands, locally owned Jaeger's Ace Hardware is committed to offering real service with real savings. Get these red-hot buys at any of our 4 locations. Ace 2-gallon home and garden sprayer only $17.99 with your Ace Rewards card. Flour and vegetable seeds, 25 cents each. Save $20 to $60 on Milwaukee, Craftsman, and DeWalt power tools with your Ace Rewards card. And check out our huge selection of Big Green Egg, Traeger, and Blackstone grills at everyday low prices. Find us online at JaegersHardware.com.
Whether you're fishing for cold water bass on Beaver Lake or Table Rock, or fishing for a trophy brown trout on the Mighty White River, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue will catch them. It has that famous rolling action whether it's fished extremely slow or worked fast in heavy current. This rogue suspends, so it will stay in the strike zone longer, allowing you to catch more fish. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $425 off of your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
We're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Rumors spread around. You have to take the time. Right this back outside the game. You know what I'm talking about. Just let me know if you wanna go to that whole mile on the range. They got a lot of nice girls. I'm ready. Well, you're fine. If you got the time, I have to get yourself down here is fine. I'm on every night. But now I might be mistaken.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Headed on to the McClarty Daniel hotline. Brett Dolan with us here on Halftime. Appreciate that today, Brett. How you doing?
Hey, I'm great. I'm just hoping the weather cooperates. We've got outdoor sports. You get indoor sports for a few more days, but we'll see if Mother Nature lets us play some baseball this weekend.
Yeah, the roof held at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena yesterday with all the rain. I was a little worried they might have to, bang yesterday's basketball games. I'm iffy on the idea of any baseball tomorrow, but they canceled today's softball 2 days ago. Guess it's just trying to, wait and see what the pattern looks like. But here's one thing I know, Brett. You don't want Hagen Smith to go out there and not be able to let him go as long as he possibly can. So I think that'll be in the coaches and administrators' minds too.
Well, but the other part of that is if he pitches on Saturday in a doubleheader, I think you'd like him fresh for the Friday SEC game. Mm-hmm. And not that 6 days or 7 days is that big of a deal, but, just keep these pitchers in their routine. So I'd kind of like him optimally fresh for Mizzou a week from Friday.
Yeah, you're right about that. Boy, the weather just doesn't always cooperate when it comes to baseball, does it? So with McNeese coming in this weekend, aside from, wanting to sweep the whole thing, there's some jobs that are open right now. The center field is not settled. Second base right now with Peyton Stovall coming back is not settled. Top of the batting order is not settled. I don't even feel the catching position is settled. So there's a lot going into this weekend for a team that's 10-2.
Absolutely, and I do think this is a weekend where these bats can get right. And obviously if it's colder, wetter, windy. Maybe it's not perfect hitting conditions, but that's been the element, and I think Dave gave them a C+ or a C for a grade a week ago, and it probably has been different than I expected from an offensive standpoint, at least from home runs and key hits and all of that fun stuff that we enjoy. So I'll be curious to see how he kind of manipulates his lineup this week, because you're exactly right in all of those positions. And if Stovall's coming back soon, all of a sudden there's a kid named Souza who's pretty good. And we've talked about Sprague Lott and Holt, and then the outfield seems to be even more of a mess than the infield, because I do think there's enough people to hit on that infield. It's just a matter of who and when and where. But there's a couple guys in the outfield that probably need to kind of get it going before we start these conference games in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, there's a logjam as far as who Dave will give the at-bats to at certain situations. And I forget a little that Peyton Holt can play some outfield. So I think that we may see him in left field at times if Jason Jones isn't out there. You want Sprague Lott's bat in the lineup. I think Nolan Souza is a bat that they're going to want to get into the lineup too. I wonder if they'll eventually look at him at third base for part of this season. Or just DHing, because his bat is special. But I do wonder about, is it a feeling like we're just trying to figure out what this lineup can look like and just try to scratch out enough runs in anticipation of Stovall coming back, and then when he's back and he's in a week or so and he can get his timing in and everything, it's like he is the kind of hitter, and we've only seen it for a month in his freshman year, but he is the kind of hitter that can really be the linchpin to a lineup to get it to click.
He can be. I'm a little bit concerned just not seeing a lot of live pitching, and I know he was maybe excited for the possibility of facing Oral Roberts next Tuesday before Mizzou on the weekend, but I think to your point, if he is acceptable as he gets kind of going again and doesn't show a lot of rust, then he is going to be in that leadoff spot. It should at least solidify the placement in the lineup surrounding a few of those positions that we might see still some battles for, like center field or third base or whatnot. But at least you don't have as much movement within the top 4 or 5 guys, and I think that kind of helps settle things down. But again, you're just trying to score enough runs for your pitching staff to be able to kind of cruise to some wins. But it certainly would be nice, I would imagine, some days if that offense kind of gets back to where we kind of thought they might be.
Pinstripes on Tuesday, huh? I wasn't there as I was traveling with basketball. I didn't realize until I saw the front of the jerseys that it's the block lettering Arkansas font that we see, kind of all over campus with Razorback Athletics. I thought that it might have been, a cursive Arkansas or something like that. I like the pinstripes. I'm just not sure if the lettering worked out. It was really small letters, which kind of mirrors what you're seeing with the big league uniforms now, where the lettering and the numbers are just tiny.
Yeah, you need reading glasses, I think, for some of them. No, I was excited to see the pinstripes. We probably didn't talk about it as much on television as we should have because, people enjoy the different looks, or some of them are critical of it, whatever it is. But it was different, and I would imagine we'll see that a few more times, too, at some point, too.
I would think so as well. Women's basketball tonight. They beat Auburn, but it was a different team even a month ago. They've been beaten up right now, Brett, not only with Talia Scott's absence and the mystery that's sort of surrounding it, just everybody's very tight-lipped about it, but Carly Johnson hasn't played. Sailor Poffenbarger, she took a hit to the head on Sunday. I don't know if she's available today or not. It's just, you try to dream up instances in which you can beat a team a second time, and it's already more difficult if you're fully healthy. And this team has been anything but fully healthy, and it just gets worse and worse.
Well, it does, and I think that's the tough part. I think because they've been so short-handed to begin with, players have had more minutes and just more tread off their tires. So then you get later in the year and it gets harder to play 35, 40 minutes. And then it seems like instead of getting a few people back, the rotation actually gets smaller and smaller. And if there's any more injuries or foul trouble, it's just almost untenable just to try and get out there and have enough bodies to compete. And I think the other part is we're only human. And when you start losing games, you've lost 4 in a row and you kind of realize you're not going to the NCAA tournament, it becomes even harder to kind of power through. Conference tournament does provide a bit of a reset, but I think even if they win 3 games, I don't think that's enough. And the possibility of trying to win 4 when you've lost 4 in a row is just really a tough mental hurdle to try and overcome.
Hey, Brett, I want to get your thoughts on the 4 number 1 seeds in this NCAA tournament. I watch a lot of SEC ball. I haven't got to see Arizona play. Haven't really seen Iowa State play. I'm a Shaka Smart fan of Marquette. Give me right now who you think when the selection committee gets it all said and done, who's going to be the 4 number 1 seeds in the college tournament?
Oh, boy. I don't know if I'm fully ready to throw out 4. I think Houston will be 1. I think they've earned it. They've been probably the best team. I thought, Matt, when they went to the Big 12, they would have a few more losses, and they've had more close games, but they found a way to win those close games as of late. Still think Tennessee has a great chance, and we've watched them just kind of solidify things in the SEC. Iowa State's interesting because I feel like they're maybe in that 2-seed conversation, and then whether or not they can get over the hump. I really think the committee would love to have a West team like Arizona be a number 1. Mm-hmm. They had a loss at home to Washington State, and they were a ranked team, but those are games that you probably need to win if you're going to be a 1 seed. And I try and watch as much Arizona as I can because I spend a lot of time in Tucson and kind of a little Wildcat fan myself when I get a chance, but I don't know if they're quite good enough. But I think if they could win the conference tournament, then maybe they might be that natural, that West Coast number 1.
I think this might be a year that Tennessee is able to remove the regular season and from Rick Barnes' nickname. It's funny, I was watching on Twitter this morning, Fran Fraschilla just tried to celebrate Barnes' regular season championship by pointing out he was unceremoniously dumped by Texas, hired by Tennessee the same day. I mean, this is all these years ago, and now has a regular season championship, but no postseason success with Tennessee, and the Texas fans were pretty quick to point that out. And then Fraschilla went back at him. He was calling them jackasses. It was very entertaining morning programming.
It does seem like there are some coaches that are very successful in March. And you can be a good head coach but not have a lot of success in March. And I think that's kind of a barrier, and I don't know what it is. I mean, I'd love to kind of get inside some people's minds. Is it a mindset? Is it an approach? What is it that allows some coaches to have success in March when others that win a lot of games can't really get to that second weekend, let alone the third weekend in college basketball? And it's bizarre. You know, there was one time I covered a regional, and it was in Tucson, and Bobby Knight brought Texas Tech in. And he had this saying, he goes, you guys get me to the second weekend, I'll get you, meaning the players, to the Final Four. Like he could have just enough influence, or whether it was strategy, whether it was game planning. If his team could get him a couple of wins, he would find a way to get to them to the Final Four. And there's a lot of coaches that just can't win those first 2 games. And I don't know what it is. I don't even know what makes sense when you can win 23, 24 games every regular season and have good teams, but you kind of see your aspirations melt away once you get into the NCAA.
Matt, do you feel it's like there's a difference in how you build a team? Like in baseball, Major League Baseball, you get teams that basically you're trying to build to make it through a regular season, and then you get this, this compacted, best of 7 or best of 5 or best of 3, and it doesn't feel, I don't want to use the term fair, it's just like this isn't necessarily indicative of how good this team has been. You get the sense of that in the basketball tournaments because it's down to 1 loss. I mean, it's more random than anything else. If you build a team that is as good as they are to be a number 1 seed, then you can win the national championship. I mean, to me, it is that simple.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen a team like Virginia, you've seen a team like Purdue have high seeds and then lose in the opening weekend. But when I was at Jacksonville, Phil, our team was built to beat the Colts. It wasn't necessarily built because they were in our division. You had Peyton Manning, they had Mathis and Freeney on the outsides. You had to be built to beat them first to get into the playoffs, and then you take it from there.
Yeah, nobody's ever worried.
I think.
Well, Brett, I was just going to say, nobody's ever worried about, I'm building my team to beat Kentucky and beat Arkansas and beat Alabama. They're not worried about Eastern Kentucky because, you play them in November and you view it as, we got to win the game, but it's a tune-up.
Right. And to Matt's point, I think that's what we talk about with Big Ten football. You're trying to win ugly games in November. You're not trying to win playoff games, and you get to the playoffs outside of Michigan this year, and things look differently. And I'm with you because we talk about it, Phil, in college baseball. High Point won this game. Stony Brook won this game over LSU, and you're like, how in the world do these teams win these games? But we know college baseball's older. We know college basketball's older. These mid-major teams have been together 3 or 4 years. Maybe we might even see more upsets than ever before. And sometimes I guess the only other flip side of that is I believe teams that can score enough to win in the regular season, sometimes they go up against teams that aren't playing good defense, or maybe they don't play good defense. It always feels like in the NCAA tournament, you're going to get teams' best efforts, or you should. So if you're a team that doesn't play defense and you're trying to outscore somebody, your opponent might just nullify your offense one game, and that's going to be enough to kind of knock you off your path towards a Sweet 16 or beyond.
Hey, Brett, last thing. You see that Jake Paul is fighting Mike Tyson July 20th. I went back, and that's a 57-year-old versus a 29-year-old. That would be exactly the same. Now tell me who could get these guys out. Which of these 57-year-old pitchers would be able to get a current major league hitter out? Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, Curt Schilling.
Yes, to all three. No, probably the first two more than the last one. Schilling would give up a few solo homers, but he'd find a way to kind of get you out over 7 innings. But I think Maddux and Glavine could really frustrate you, kind of like those scrambling pitchers that were throwing 59 miles an hour to the Razorbacks and watching them swing out of their shoes. I think they could just kind of frustrate some big league guys and spot some pitches on the corners and get them swinging crazy.
They better give him a couple of inches off the plate, too. Like a
That's right.
bunch of pitches off the plate, too. Brett, appreciate you, man. We'll see you at Baum this weekend, okay?
All right, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Brett.
Brett Dolan with us here on Halftime. If you want to get on the McClarty Daniel hotline's open, 877-377-6963. Yeah, I mean, Glavine would get 6 inches off the plate when he was still starring for the Atlanta Braves. Man, he would have loved it any game that he had Eric Gregg behind the plate, for those of you who remember those plate umpires. Stick around. More Halftime in just a moment.
AC Insurance wants to remind everyone they are your local, trusted insurance agency for all your life and health insurance needs. They are located in the Northville Shopping Center at 912 Highway 6265 North in Harrison. Feel free to drop by the office anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., or call 870-517-1207 to schedule your appointment now. And don't forget, they are local people helping local people.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is Halftime.
Subiaco in Scranton, if you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco in Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 4th Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
Dozy Place has now been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years. Celebrate your special birthday, holiday, person, or just because at Dozy Place. Start with delicious appetizers and your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Dozy Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended, so call 784-9111. 784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
Honey, I found a great new house for us to buy. Look at the photos.
Yeah? Who's gonna clean that big house?
We'll hire a housekeeper.
And who's gonna mow all that grass?
I will, on the weekends.
And who will get the kids to school?
We'll start a neighborhood couple.
You thought of everything, didn't you?
Yeah.
Except, who's gonna sell this house we're living in now?
Nick and Ellie Glidewell. nickandellie.com. Equal housing opportunity, Sagely and Edwards Realtors.
Here's to you and yours from the friendly folks at In Good Spirits, your upscale liquor store in Fort Smith. At In Good Spirits, they've got what your taste buds are craving, including flavorful wines from around the world, scrumptious brandies and liqueurs, tempting whiskeys and beers, and fine cigars. Treat yourself to the best as you listen to the game. Check out In Good Spirits, 12100 Highway 71 South, across from Riley Farms in Fort Smith.
It's the third annual car show brought to you by McKenzie's Racing Supply. Bring your street rods, hot rods, and race cars from all area racetracks. Everyone is invited for a fun day of cars and music at McKenzie's Racing Supply, 1111 South 4th Street, Van Buren. Saturday, March 23rd from 11 to 1. Trophies will be awarded. Live music from the Jug Hill Annie Band. Sponsored by STI Incorporated, Midwest Automation, JRT Trucking, Eddie Knight Auto Sales, and Extreme Diesel.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I've never asked it. Being attractive is the most important thing there is. If you want to catch the biggest fish in your pond, you have to be as attractive as possible. Make sure to keep your hair spotless and clean. Wash it at least every 2 weeks. Once every 2 weeks. And if you see Johnny Football Hero in the hall, tell him he played a great game. Tell him you liked his article in the newspaper. Star. I got my own car. I'll never get caught. I'm popular. I make football best. I'm a teacher's pet.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
I don't usually bring up the national holidays, not too often, unless it's one that hits to home, really close to home. And it's like, so I call these a holiday. These are not holidays. These are just like, paid marketing opportunities for whatever the national day is. And I heard Ty and Tommy and Chuck bring up National Cereal Day this morning. Works perfectly, too, because the Greenville Marriott, Matt, I just sent Matt the photo of it, they have they got a pretty good cereal selection at the morning breakfast here for Razorback women's basketball. It's, you got all the colors there, got all the basic cereal color groups that you need. You got your purple, you got your blue, your red, your green, your yellow, your white. Got your sugared cereals, got your supposedly non-sugared cereals. I pretty much have like everything I need to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner right there in that one photo, Matt.
Yeah, give me some whole milk and a thing of those corn pops right there.
Now, see what they're missing right now? They don't have the whole milk at this hotel. They still think everybody's on the low-fat kick
it's just
or
cheaper.
the non-fat kick.
It's just cheaper. They don't care
Must
about you. You got to remember that.
I've always figured if it's 2% milk, that means there's 98% something else that's put in it, and I don't want the 98% something else. Yes, Wolf?
I was just going to ask you, what's your favorite cereal?
Depends on the day. Depends on the meal. Cereal's
cereal's
not just a breakfast thing. Cereal is a great dessert thing. Heck, the CEO of Kellogg's is telling everybody they should be eating cereal for dinner. I bet you he doesn't eat cereal for dinner. Today I went with the Frosted Flakes. Just kind of felt like good old-fashioned.
Classic.
It's got to be like the first ever sugared cereal was Frosted Flakes.
What about you, Matt?
Tony the Tiger, yeah. When I looked at his collection right there, It's definitely situational. You know, you're not always grabbing the same one, but those corn pops I was kind of might be getting on those today.
The corn pops are popping at you, huh?
They
You better be careful, man. There's only one corn pop bowl left amongst this whole bowl of fun.
That Raisin Bran over there sitting in the cut looks pretty good too.
It's a lonely box of health there. I mean, the thing about Raisin Bran is you realize how much sugar is thrown in that. So
all that stuff.
In this selection, we got the Frosted Flakes, got the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, got the Corn Pops, Apple Jacks, which is underrated, Frosted Flakes. Apple Jacks, by the way, are just Fruit Loops of a different kind. Then there's the Fruit Loops.
A little more cinnamon.
Yes,
Yeah.
apple and cinnamon. That's right. And then the Raisin Bran. So here's one of the things about the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. What are we doing with each of these individual bowls of cereal for Cinnamon Toast Crunch advertising on the front that it's got 25% less sugar? It's funny how the math works, because 25% less sugar actually means 100% less taste. I didn't realize that it would actually work out like that, but it works out perfectly. 25% less sugar in Cinnamon Toast Crunch negates all the flavor that matters. It's just not sugary enough. That's one cereal you don't need to be sucking the sugar off of, okay? General Mills, do better.
Is Honey Grams at General Mills? Because that's one I didn't see on the list right there, but I'm a big fan of Honey Grams as well.
Yeah, now you're talking my language. That's a dessert. See, that's a dessert topping cereal.
Oh man, you get some whole milk on that right there. It's a pleasure.
I think I could eat Golden Grams on top of everything, like spaghetti and meatballs. Just put it on. It would actually be very, very good. But it is a great ice cream topping. So I mean, look, so Golden Grams will be near the top of the list. Okay. So will Cinnamon Toast Crunch, minus the shrimp tails. I don't know if you remember when the shrimp tails were found in this box of Cinnamon Toast. Yes, I know the guy who reported it probably put the shrimp tails in there himself, but I don't care. Don't ruin the story for me. And then there's the Golden Grams. Those would be the three ones I'm choosing over anything else. It depends on the time of day and what it was that I had for dinner, because it's going to be a cereal dessert. But then there's I told you, I'm on a cornflakes kick. I don't know, I've aged 30 years in the last 5 months. Now I'm eating cornflakes sometimes twice a day. And I really don't try to have too many boxes of cereal in the house. I need some honest answers from listeners here. Be honest. How many of you actually have 10 boxes of cereal at home? I mean 10 either unopened or still opened boxes of cereal, because my kids are exactly that, and they're never going to get to the bottom of some of these cereals either. There's some of you out there. I'm not one of them. I've got 4, all right? There's some of you out there like Seinfeld. You ever try to count the number of cereal boxes that Seinfeld had above his sink in the apartment? 10, 11, sometimes 12.
Honey Bunches of Oats. There would be another one I can get down with the Honey Grams. Now I know that's not General Mills. I think that's Post is on the Honey Bunches of Oats.
That's right.
Are those still the two competing cereal brand companies?
There's Post. There's Quaker. There's General Mills, and there's Kellogg's. Man, there's 4 of them.
How did I forget Kellogg's? That's Raisin Bran, right? Is Raisin Bran? Right. Yeah,
it's the big 4. That's right. Don't forget about the television networks. They've all been surpassed by the streamers. There's no more Big 4 networks. There's Big 4 cereal makers, and leave it at that. BE's Grand Pops was Special K only. BE, would he have at least done the Special K Red Berries? That was a little addition into the Special K that worked really well. Just throws some freeze-dried fruit that'll never go bad, never go moldy. You realize if you just drop the non-freeze-dried strawberries inside the Special K and leave it there, then it's going to go moldy. Jamie in Fayetteville loves the Fruity Pebbles. I guess you got to have some sort of a chocolate cereal too. And there's all kinds of chocolate cereals. Pebbles, Krispies, Puffs, Chocula. I'll go with the Krispies. You know the one I can't eat is Crave. I don't know if you've seen this cereal. Crave. It's got the chocolate in the middle. It's sort of like little puffs on the outside, but it's got that, I don't know, like Clark Griswold needed to work a little bit more on the non-nutritive cereal varnish, because this stuff sticks to your tongue. It's just, can't go with that. Yeah, B says the special red berries were Grandpa did like that stuff. Good for him. And Rob ate Captain Crunch, whole milk, toast with Irish cream butter for dinner last night. Good on you, Rob. Good on you. Now, they were also asking in the morning, and Matt, you're an oatmeal guy sometimes. Oatmeal is not cereal. We cannot. They had an oatmeal conversation on the Morning Rush, talking cereal. Like that's like having a basketball conversation on a football pregame show. These are two different things.
No, and I actually get the Irish porridge too. I get the real stuff that it takes you 30 minutes to cook. It's man, they say the older you get, after you're over 40, you need a bowl of oatmeal every day if you're trying to do right.
What about a bowl of Cheerios? Isn't is that going to be like somewhat the same ingredients, a little bit less processed though? The oatmeal is much less processed. Can you give me a difference between porridge and oatmeal?
I'll send you a copy of my I'll send you a picture of what I buy at the store, and it comes in the can, where you have to pop the seal, and it's high dollar stuff. Yeah, I mean, which nowadays all the groceries are high dollar stuff.
Jamie makes a really good point here on the McClarty Daniel hotline. He says grape nuts should be outlawed because it's against the Geneva Convention. Grape nuts are the jawbreakers of cereal. Okay, like you really they call it a jawbreaker for a reason, because if you actually tried to bite down on the thing, you're going to need surgery. I feel the same way about grape nuts. Like that really does take some effort. If you ever needed jaw strengthening exercises, a bowl of grape nuts might actually do it for you if you can make it through. But it's actually making it through that is the most difficult thing. Let's take a call from Scott in Alabama here on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Obviously, he's called up to talk about his favorite cereals. Scott, how are you?
Oh, well, I'll go ahead and say, how you doing? Good to hear from you and Matt. I'm glad you're in Greenville and you're safe and all that. I'm in Dothan, yeah, I'll go. I like Fruit Loops. I always like them. I like Crispy the chocolate. And I like Captain Crunch. There we go. That's my three. I don't need
all in the same
else.
bowl, man. Let's just have a party, right? So what else is up, Scott?
That's it. I want to ask you talk about Jose Canseco earlier today. And who was the first man that did the 40-40? Was it Jose Canseco?
It was Jose Canseco. That's right. I think it's only been done 3 times. He was the first.
Yeah, I was wondering that because I have a card, and I always collected cards and stuff when I was a little kid, he would grow up, I mean, I'm 55, so, but I'm not like I was sitting there thinking, I grew up outside Gainesville, Florida, outside University of Florida, the campus there at Interlochen. And I want to tell y'all a story. My first time, I went with my best friend, Alan, and his father. And we went down toward Hawthorne, Florida to do a job. His dad was a drywall man. He was very well known. Well, we go up to this fish camp, and we pull up in there, and we're both about 7 to 8 years old. And, our heroes were, all the baseball players in the day were George Brett. It's awesome. We love George Brett. I love Wade Boggs. Wade Boggs was my favorite. And go to figure, and we pull up in there, it is Wade Boggs. He bought the fish camp and turned it into, it's outside Home Floor Off 301. He turned to call it Fenway Fish Camp, off of Boston. But that was the two people together was George Brett coming behind him. George Brett was down there visiting him. They were on vacation. And Mr. Five was supposed to do 5 different jobs on them, 5 different houses, do the drywall work. But they signed George Brett, he don't sign autographs. I had 4 rookie cards that I collected of George Brett in the day. He signed them. And I had Wade Boggs, he signed his, stuff for us. And they were the nicest guys you've ever met, but they were awesome players. If they both didn't carry 300 averages, I would be surprised.
I have a feeling, Scott, that George Brett could probably still hit 300, and Wade Boggs, well, maybe not 300. Maybe he'd hit about, 225. I'd say Boggs would probably hit about 230 today. But of course, these guys are in their 60s, so it'd be a little more difficult for them to hit at that age. 877-377-6963 to get with us on halftime. And everybody's got their favorite cereals coming in. Honeycomb with a pinch of sugar, Frosted Flakes, honeycombs, Fruit Loops and marshmallows. Don't tell me about the bowl of oatmeal. It ain't cereal. Captain Cruncher Crunchberry frosted. I got a mini bowl of frosted mini wheats to eat during the commercial break. See right there? 100 calories. How many pieces of mini wheats do you think are worth 100 calories? There's like 12 of them in here, and then a bunch of shredded stuff. We'll wrap up the second hour in a moment.
You will never find a boring old burger at Art's Barbecue and Burgers in Fort Smith. Try the Wild West Burger, topped with a hot link, jalapenos, and Art's hot sauce. The Brisket Burger, with tender brisket and caramelized onions on top of their hand-patted burger. Or the famous Art Attack, with house bacon, smoked ham, an onion ring, and a fried egg. There are 10 different burgers to choose from, and they're all $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue Burgers and more. Rogers Avenue, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Spring is just around the corner, and Jelco Outdoors is ready with all of your spring fishing gear. Crappie, bass, catfish, Jelco has a great selection of rods, reels, and baits to help you fill that stringer. Spring turkey supplies are rolling in daily, and the firearms department is stocked up with ammo for outdoor shooting. Spring is almost here, so get outdoors and enjoy the spring season. Stop by Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith, for all your outdoor gear. Think spring, think Jelco Outdoors.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
With over 8,000 square feet of all the latest trends in lighting and plumbing fixtures, Great House Fixtures has all the brands you know and love, such as Visual Comfort Lighting and Delta Faucets. Their experienced staff can help you design and select the perfect fixtures for your uniquely you home, including sinks, tubs, faucets, custom showers, indoor and outdoor lighting, chandeliers, mirrors, hardware, and more. Make your house a great house. Learn more at greathousefixtures.com, located on 0th Street in Fort Smith. Great House Fixtures by J&B Supply.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Are you in the market for a new office printer or multifunction device? Look no further. At Dixie Digital Imaging, we bring a legacy of experience and a rock-solid reputation. Our state-of-the-art solutions are tailored to meet your business needs seamlessly. Why settle for anything less? Call us now at 479-783-6600 to get a quote on your next office printer or multifunction device. Elevate your office efficiency with Dixie Digital Imaging, where experience and reputation meet excellence. That's Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
Let the madness begin at 810 Billiards and Bowling. Make sure to join them for all your favorite games and enjoy specials like the Slam Dunk, 10 wings and a pitcher of domestic beer, only $15. Or the Layup, any pizza and a pitcher of domestic beer for only $20. Or $10 buckets of beer. Join in the mayhem at 810 Billiards and Bowling, 5609 Rogers Avenue, Fort Smith. Come for the food, but stay for the fun.
Are you ready to work for one of the area's premier companies? If so, Forsgren wants to offer you a rewarding new career. Forsgren has been building the foundation of the River Valley for over 80 years. Forsgren is recruiting for experienced concrete finishers, equipment operators, truck drivers, and laborers. Forsgren is a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence. Join the Forsgren legacy. Apply now on any device, anywhere at goforsgren.com. That's goforsgren.com. Forsgren Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Love me 2 times, baby. Love me twice today. Love me 2 times, girl. I'm gone away. Love me 2 times, girl. One for tomorrow, one just for 2 days. Love me 2 times, I'm gone away.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
So we've got the Wolf, Will Whitson, in studio today as our producer. I'm not sure if he knows that we have assigned the C Unit, his brother in production, listening to the first 2 Doors albums, the Doors self-titled and Strange Days. So that's why we've got you coming back here from the break with Love Me 2 Times, Babe. Will, you have heard of the Doors, right?
Well, just I just from this.
That's a no. That means he's never heard. So. He's trying to be nice, Matt, but he's never heard of the Doors. That's too bad, because I think if we were to hold a contest, I think Will Whitson might win the Most Looks Like the Lizard King award. Most looks like Jim Morrison. He's the lead singer of the Doors and died a legendary death at, what was he, 29, 30 years old? Basically drank himself to death.
28,
in Paris. Okay. You remember his age by the uniform. Of course you remember that through Marshall Falk's uniform number. You're right there across from him. Matt, am I onto something here? Is Will Whitson the second coming, at least facially and with the hair, of Jim Morrison?
He's definitely the prettiest person in this room.
Well,
be enough said. Now, do you have any artistic? Can you write lyrics in a poetic way? Can you wear leather pants? Please don't do that.
I choose not to indulge in either of those activities. Probably just for the good of the community.
It's too bad. Well, I think maybe I like the idea of us working with somebody that actually looks like him, though. I mean, you've got the hair. He's got kind of the shape of the face. Was Jim Morrison kind of a bigger guy? I mean, he obviously got pretty heavy the last couple of years of his life, but I feel like he's probably a little bigger, a little taller than you will, but it might actually work well. It might work well.
I'll have to look up a picture of him because, I a lot of people say, if there's somebody that has long hair and, has like a semi-decent jawline, they'll be like, okay, you look like him. So everybody says that I look like the guy off of Shrek, what's his name?
Leave it there. You don't want to look like anybody from Shrek.
So,
I could even see a little striking resemblance to Michael Hutchence, former lead singer of In Excess, who died in a way that, I hope you live longer and your demise is a little
all these guys
his.
that you're mentioning they're going out early, going out sad.
Yeah, well, if you're a great rock and roll artist, usually that's kind of what happens. So maybe just stick to sports radio, Will, and you'll live longer.
I hope
Does that
so.
sound better?
Yeah, that's a better idea.
Okay, that's good. I'd like you to...
I think he was 27. It's either 27, about to be 28, but it was, all those, there was a lot of rockers that died at that same age.
And Will, your age is?
19.
Oh, good. I mean, so you're ready to step into the boxing ring with, I don't know, like George Foreman or someone like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Or, maybe pass away to a tragic death if I'm a rock star.
Stay with us. We'll get into the third hour of halftime, and we won't be quite as fatalistic. 877-377-6963 for the McClarty Daniel hotline. We are right back.
If you've lived in the River Valley for a while, you know about the great reputation of Jam Mart. And their newest location at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith is open. Stop by for coffee, gas, beer, snacks, ices, and a clean restroom every time. Don't forget about the hot deli and fresh-made burgers. Now 7 locations in Fort Smith, Greenwood, Boonville, Ozark, and Danville. Sign up for their loyalty program for discounts throughout the stores. Jam Mart, the leading convenience store and gas station in the region.
Sunday morning. You can smell it. Game day. And the brisket you've been smoking since last night. A day to be with family, aka fellow football fans. Traditions make Sundays easy to enjoy. Beers do too. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Are you tired of the overcrowded fitness centers? Would you like a fitness option where you can actually work out? Then let's hang out. The Hangout is Fort Smith's newest fitness facility. It has an 8,000 square foot gym, indoor tennis, pickleball, and basketball with more sports coming soon. The Hangout offers group and individual training in the gym and boasts 3 active tennis pros to help you grow your game. Stop in today at 5400 Gary Street or thehangoutfs.com for more information. Be a part of something different. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. What's the first thing you do if you had more time in the day? Nap, read, talk with a friend? When you know what's more important to you, it's easier to fit it into your schedule. Therapy can help you figure that out. BetterHelp offers affordable online therapy that comes to you. Start the process in minutes and switch therapists anytime. Visit BetterHelp, HELP.com/like today to get 10% off your first month.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, occasional showers and thunderstorms are high temperatures this afternoon in the low to mid 60s. We're looking at wet, some stormy weather tonight, mid 50s. Occasional showers and thunderstorms as we head through Friday. Our high on Friday in the low to mid 60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today.
Radio station.
KERX, Paris Fort Smith, from the Bushlight Studios. This is ESPN 95.3. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that would respect you. If I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
You both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
What's able one Razorback?
Second half, very happy.
It's vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Welcome back into halftime as we take you into your third hour on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Bob Holt will come up in about 15 minutes. He had a media session earlier today. I don't know what players were made available. And judging on the first week or so, it doesn't look like any of the assistant coaches will be available. You will hear from Sam Pittman quite a bit, though, throughout spring ball. So morning practices, you guys are kind of making a big deal out of these being morning practices. Does it make a difference what time of the day, Matt? I mean, I guess I would assume I'd rather get going in the morning. You know, wake up, get it going, get it out of the way, and then the rest of your day, whatever it is you got to do.
Yeah, so I guess the schedule's changed a little bit. Used to you could get in and get your workout in before class, or you could get your workout in before you go out on the field. So you might go in and get your workout in at 6:37, and then you're going to have class either at 8 or 9 is usually your first class. But we had to be done with classes by 1 o'clock. Like you couldn't, that's back then. So now it might be different where maybe they're done with working out by 1 and then all their classes are in the afternoon. So either way, the one thing you want to do is you just want a routine. You get on a routine, your body gets used to it. Whether it's going to be in the morning or the afternoon. You don't want to have to go morning one day, then the afternoon the next day. It's good if you can kind of have a schedule.
Well, I think all the practices are in the morning, so you can definitely get that routine and just kind of get used to exactly what the day's supposed to be like. Of course, it all leads to the spring game. I guess we're about about a month away from that? So 15 practices of spring ball, and then takes you up to the game, which we don't even know what that might look like, but they still call it a game. Media, I guess the media is the one who's made the big deal out of practices being open to the media. But fans will also be able to come in, I think, on Saturdays to watch as well. That doesn't have anything to do with the players necessarily, but it might help. It might help everybody else that's paying attention have a little bit more of an understanding of what it is that the coaches are seeing. So I don't know. I guess there'll be some film to study at some point that isn't just, hey, we're going to watch the game closely or watch the spring game closely. You'll actually be able to see how who's stronger in drills and who's better when it comes to the one-on-one tackling drills and all of that. So, and I also like the idea of them just taking the blindfold off a little bit, because I don't really think there's going to be any secrets stolen.
Yeah, you got to do some live action. You got to have the bullets flying. You got to tackle. If you don't practice it, you don't repeat it, you're not doing it, you're not going to get any better at it. There's a difference in actually having to break down and form tackle somebody, wrap up, gather. It's just a thud is just so you're not getting any better if you don't at least practice it a little bit. And then as the quarterbacks and the receivers, it's a totally different mindset. If you're running a slant route, you're running a comeback, and you're not going to get tackled. You got to be able to catch a ball through contact. It's so much easier to throw the ball and catch the ball if you're not worried about getting hit. And so a lot of times that D-back could be getting there when the ball's getting there, so it teaches you how to have strong hands. And then running backs as well. You need to get popped a little bit. You need to have a couple. You get all summer to recover and to recoup.
I just wondered too about do you ever worry about a defensive player, knowing who it is that he's about to hit, and so he might not go at it 100%. You know what it's like. It's like if you're not going at 100%, a lot of times you leave yourself open to some sort of an injury, and not tackling at all. Well, that's going to lead to probably no injuries when it comes to tackling, but I get exactly what it is you're saying, and it makes a lot of sense, because you do want to at least try to make it feel like real football.
Yeah, you're not trying to hurt anybody. You're not trying to blindside anybody, but you're trying to compete, and you're trying to get your body used to it. Your body's going to feel a lot different when it's live action. Your shoulders, you're building strength. You're building repetition. Your muscle memory. I'm a big believer in hitting in the spring practice. Yes, 3, 4, 5 times you need to have live scrimmages, live action, not just middle drill, not just skelly, whatever you're doing, but you need to have live action where these quarterbacks, man, you play in high school, and then all of a sudden you get to college, and it might be 3 years until you have any live action to where you're really worried about getting hit, and it just changes the way you go about it.
Well, a lot of it has to do with the timing. You got to get your timing down right now. That's a lot of, as I understand the offense that Bobby Petrino runs, right place, right time, ball on time, and you got to feel like, part of that being on time is that you got a defender who's right on you that's ready to hit you, and you got to know what you got to do to make that play. But if I'm wondering as a layperson and somebody that you look at Bobby Petrino and the offense, this spring football stretch, like you're trying to figure out, because they want to know who the number one quarterback is by the end of spring. So much of this might also have to do with, not who throws it the fastest or the hardest or maybe even the most accurate at times, or who can run it, but what sort of a chemistry are you able to develop with your receivers? And you get, I'm sure Criswell threw to the receivers last year, but it only happened a few times in a game. I mean, that's got to be something that Petrino and Sam Pittman are also watching, and that's something that the quarterbacks and receivers have to work on immediately.
Well, you know how I talk about in basketball with the players making the right basketball play? Same thing when it comes to quarterback. Both quarterback coaches I had up there at the university, it's getting the team in the right play. It's making the right read. It's doing what you're coached to do and having a plan. And each time the quarterback goes out to practice, and each time you do that, you start building trust. Coach is like, I know he knows what to do in this situation. I know he knows what to do here. And so that's what you're trying to do as a quarterback. You want to have command of that, but you want to just keep making the right play, the right read, the right decision. And then all of a sudden, and you keep doing that they have the confidence trusting you in the starting quarterback.
Well, you want it to become instinctual. It's like I love the word situational in sports. We even brought up the idea of what's your favorite cereal on National Cereal Day? Well, it's situational, depending on the day and what it is you've already eaten up until that point. Sports are all about the situations. In baseball, it's when you get the base hit, not necessarily how far you hit it or how hard you hit it. It's the timing. It's the timing of the hit and who's on base in the situation. With what you're getting at here, you're thinking of specific situations. 2nd and 4 from the opponent's 45. Last 2-minute drill, that kind of thing, where you are in the field to where it becomes instinctual, that when the play is called, you know exactly where it is you're supposed to be and where everybody else is supposed to be and where the ball's supposed to be delivered. I guess you can't necessarily, you can work on it in August, but if you work on it right now and then it gets drilled in, by the time you get to August, it is instinctual already.
Can't be in the red zone. It can't be 3rd and 7, and you be on the 28-yard line and you take an 11-yard sack. Taking you out of field goal range. You can't do that. These are things that you learn. And if you're playing live action and you're on third, you do a 3rd down drill, and that's a good way to do it. But when you're actually in a game doing that, you go back and you're able to teach and coach these moments, because there's going to be mistakes. It's fine to make a mistake, but you go in with effort, and then you go back and teach and correct. And the thing that you don't want to see is you can't make the same mistake over and over and over again.
Which I feel like we saw a lot last year.
You got to learn. You got to be coachable. I think that's one thing. I think this offense is going to be better in the red zone with Bob Petrino. I think he's going to be better at getting mismatches and getting one-on-one throws, throwing guys that are open and not into. I don't know. Our offense was so pedestrian last year. Mm-hmm. There wasn't a whole lot of good going on with the offense last year. So it has to be better. Never been a pedestrian Bobby Petrino offense that I know of. So then one more question about this, and then we can break because Bob Holt's coming up soon. It all leads to a spring game, whatever you want to call it, because these games, the score can be kept, the score cannot be kept. You're put in a certain situation. Sometimes you got the offense and the defense going up against each other on one side of the field, while on the other side of the field, guys are working on this or that, and it really never feels like a game. But is that really about the situations that we've practiced in these 14 practices leading up to the spring game? Now is our opportunity to quasi put it into practice for this so-called game situation? Or is the spring game just about, fitting everybody for the uniform and letting the fans watch something? Yeah, you want to showcase the spring games for the fans. The spring game does help, but a lot of times it's in the practices and the other scrimmages that you're kind of setting yourself apart. But yeah, anytime you're out there, it's an opportunity to make a play. No question about it. Bob Holt in just a moment. Hey, don't forget, if you're looking for your next side-by-side motorcycle, ATV, or zero-turn mower, look no further than your local Wood Power Sports store. There are convenient locations in Harrison, Springdale, and Fayetteville, and over 9 brands to choose from. That includes Can-Am, Polaris, Kawasaki, Yamaha, CF Moto, Suzuki, KTM, Hustler, and Honda. If you can think of it, they've probably got it at Wood Power Sports. 3 convenient locations, also providing you with outstanding service and parts capabilities. They even offer deliveries. You want to know more? Go online to woodpowersports.com. They got a location, got a brand that is perfect for you, and they look forward to earning your business. Wood Power Sports, a solid name that you can trust.
Bob Holt's about as solid as it gets. We trust him. He's on halftime in just a moment.
I love baseball season. It's the best time of the year. Every Friday, we get to talk shop with one of my favorite former pitchers, James Teague.
12:15 on Friday is my favorite time of the week. I love joining you guys on halftime to talk about the baseball team and Teague Law Firm. You know what we always say, if we can't help you, we'll talk baseball.
Don't miss James Teague with the Teague Law Firm every Friday right here at 12:15 on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
The 1-2. He struck him out swinging.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
There's big news in the mobile sports betting business. Bet Saracen was just named the 15th largest sports book in America. That's because Arkansans like to do business with a winner. Find all your winners on Bet Saracen. Download it today and look for my RR prop bet specials. I pick them, you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV?
What? No way, dude. Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen.
Call Jason Hill in Greenwood or Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Z Road, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Honey, I found a great new house for us to buy. Look at the photos.
Yeah? Who's gonna clean that big house?
We'll have our housekeeper.
And who's gonna mow all that grass?
I will, on the weekends.
And who will get the kids to school?
We'll start a neighborhood couple.
You thought of everything, didn't you?
Yeah.
Except, who's gonna sell this house we're living in now?
Nick and Ellie Glidewell. nickandellie.com. Equal housing opportunity, Sagely and Edwards Realtors.
Hi, this is Melissa, owner of True Grit Running Company. Now that the weather has cooled down, it is the perfect time to get a jump start on those New Year's resolutions. We'll help you start your running journey off right with shoes handpicked just for you, based on how you run. Follow us on Facebook to learn more about our group runs for people of all paces, where we can give you advice and support on your running journey. Let us help you find your True Grit fit at True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. West Ark Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact West Ark Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drain, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. West Ark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call West Ark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Should start with Bob.
It's time to talk with the unique individual.
You said you and Diva are OGs, old guys? Brett, you spoke so positively recently. I mean, did you expect this to happen?
He's a man of mystery.
Why do you always talk about Arkansas? But go ahead.
Well, why do you always talk about Kentucky? Hey, it's Bob again. I think I'm unmuted now. I figured it out. Man, you win the lottery 3 times, get to go to Starkville.
A man whose incisive questions and rapier wit.
Hey, John, but I had a 2-parter if that's okay. What did you mean? I'm sorry. I'm not that hip. Man, we got to get the Packers straightened out. Losing to the Jets, that ain't in Lambeau, that ain't good.
That placed him on the Mount Rushmore of Arkansas sports writers.
What do you think about that?
Sure, Bob. The future in that, yeah.
Here he is, the one and only Bob Holt.
Hey, guys.
Busy Thursday, man. You got a lot going on today. How are you?
Sorry, you cut out there. How?
I was just remarking on how busy your Thursday is. You got podcasts, you got interviews to do, you got practice going on at the Smith Center. Lots going on. So how are you today?
Oh, I'm good. I hope you're doing good. I guess you're in Greenville, but yeah, it's a busy time. You got the women's SEC basketball tournament. The men are finishing up at Alabama. Spring football started. You got the NCAA track and field championships this weekend in Boston, and both Arkansas teams are defending champions and ranked number 1. Got softball, baseball, and it's gymnastics. I'm probably leaving something out, but it's a busy time of the year, maybe the busiest, with all the sports converging.
Certainly is. Now, I know you were in on some of the media sessions with players earlier today. Who did you get a chance to talk to?
Let's see. We talked to Andrew Armstrong, a wide receiver who's back. We talked to Landon Jackson, who's probably going to be a preseason All-SEC defensive end. He's a guy that could have gone in the NFL draft. He decided to come back out. That was huge for Arkansas. And then we talked to Brad Spence, who's a returning linebacker who is running, with all the changes they had, linebacker guys leaving for the portal. He's been getting first-team reps. So, yeah, we talked to all those guys.
Tell me, did you have a chance to watch practice? Because I don't know if you were in the building or not, because this is the year you get a chance to watch all of it. Were you in there?
Yeah, it rains here in Fayetteville. Not like sleeting snow or anything, but it went real nice outside. So they went in the Walker Pavilion, and I got there a little late because I was working late after the basketball game last night doing some stuff. But I got in there and watched probably an hour. And of course they're going in shorts and jerseys and shoulder pads and helmets. But I guess the couple things struck me. It was just interesting, I guess is a good word, to see Bobby Petrino back out there in Arkansas gear to practice. He's obviously not the head coach like he was from, I guess, 2008 to 2011, but he's out there and he's clearly running the offense. And Pittman's made that really clear. It's Bobby's offense. He's going to run a hasty spin, which honestly was not something he got to do at A&M. Jimbo Fisher didn't really, Bobby went there and had to adjust to their terminology, which is kind of an odd way to do things, but that's, Jimbo Fisher. Who I don't really think wanted, no offense, but he didn't want to hire an offensive coordinator. He wanted to keep running the offense, but he basically was told to do it. But, it was interesting to see Bobby back out there, and he seemed, the part I was watching, he seemed like he was, coaching them up. He wasn't screaming, yelling, and freaking out or anything, with guys. Of course, it's the first day of practice, but he seemed very calm and collected, and I got to watch the offensive line some with Eric Mateos, the offensive line coach. They were having pretty intense, work on the side, doing position drills. Of course, it's really hard to tell about the defensive and offensive lines when you're not in full pads. You don't have contact, but look, they, those guys were buying in. We know they got a lot of new offensive linemen, and we got to see. Taylor Green, the new quarterback from Boise State, he ran some plays. Again, the quarterbacks are not getting hit, but he looked like, very mobile, good arm. So those are just kind of some initial observations, I guess.
Hey, Bob, do you get a sense that it's a true QB competition with Green and Criswell or whoever it could be, or do you think it's Green's to lose?
I think based on what Green did at Boise State, he's the most experienced guy, and they brought him in here to have competition, and I think there is to a certain degree he's probably he perceived as a front runner, so he kind of has it's his job to lose, so to speak. But I do think there'll be real competition because Bobby Petrino's a new coordinator. It's not like one of these guys was quote his guy and And I think they like him all, or else they wouldn't have brought him in. And obviously, Criswell's in his second year, and you got Malachi Singleton is in his second year. But I think Bobby's going to push those guys and put them in tough situations and figure out who handles the pressure the best, and who can make the checks you want and all those kinds of things. But I think it'll be real competition, which is interesting because KJ held down the position for I guess the last 3 years. And then before that, they brought in Felipe Franks from Florida, and it was pretty obvious he would be the starter because KJ at that point I think was a redshirt freshman. And we saw Chad Morris's teams change quarterbacks very often, kind of revolving door there. And so I think you'll see real competition because they want to push guys and see who performs the best.
Bob, I think it's really interesting sometimes on like how who goes to speak to the media first, because these are decisions. I know that SIDs are part of that, but they got to get clearance from coaches on this too. Armstrong makes perfect sense. Leading receiver returning this year. May end up being a team captain. Landon Jackson, obvious reasons. Brad Spence, I would not have expected that. They put him as the one of 2 defensive players to speak the first day of spring practice. And I know Sam has talked about some of the younger linebackers that are returning, that are part of the linebacking core from last year that played a little bit. Spence is one of them. I think he had an interception return for a touchdown the first game of the year. But, that's a position of need still. I think they're still going to go into the portal and find somebody once the portal opens again. But I find it interesting that Spence was out there to talk, which to me tells us that they want him to be one of the starters. They want him to win a job.
Yeah, one of the guys might have requested him, but they're not going to put a guy there that they think is not going to be one of their key players. And of course, we saw so much turnover there. And also, you want a guy that feels comfortable talking in front of the media. It's one thing if a guy's talking to somebody one-on-one. It's another thing if there's always everybody's filming it and they're going to post on the internet, 15 minutes and all those kinds of things. But I thought they all did a good job of handling things. Well, the more interesting things was, of course, Armstrong is a receiver, but somebody asked him just overall thoughts on the offense, and he said, I think I got this right, I don't have it in front of me, but I think he said the offensive line looked beautiful, which I don't think we heard that a lot last year, probably never. But, it's good to show sport. It's like spring training in baseball, right? Everybody's undefeated, everybody's feeling good, everybody thinks they're going to win the pennant. But you do feel like there's a new vibe. Obviously, Bobby Petrino, he's an elite coordinator and play caller, and being back in Arkansas is a pretty unique situation. Somebody was talking to me about it the other day, and I just really couldn't come up with another parallel where a coach had been fired and then welcome back. And I think it's a good move because he's an elite offensive coordinator. But it'll be interesting to see how it works. But there just seems you got some new blood out there. Obviously, you got a lot of transfers. You got a lot of the freshman signees now. It's not required, but it's more. The majority of them are reporting at semester, so they can get a jump start on their college careers. But there's a lot of new guys and some new excitement, and we'll see how that plays out. But right now, everything's beautiful, as Andrew Armstrong said.
I like it. A little beauty last night in Bud Walton. Khalif Battle has just been putting on a show. But what were your thoughts last night on how the Hogs responded to LSU?
Man, they played really well. I think they were a 2 or 3 point favorite. Based on what I saw on one of the betting lines. But Arkansas. It was funny. It was almost a reversal of what happened to Arkansas at LSU. Arkansas didn't win by 21, but in the game down in Baton Rouge, that LSU won 95-74, and I think Arkansas scored the last 7 points, so that was a real lopsided game. LSU led for just like 37 minutes and 8 seconds. Don't have the box in front of me, but I think that's right. And they, and Arkansas last night led for like 37 minutes and 50-something seconds. So both teams, Arkansas I think Arkansas took the lead for good with like 16 minutes left in the first half on LS jumper. So Arkansas was pretty. They weren't in total control of the game because they got out to 12 and then LSU cut it to 4, but they led for the last 36 minutes basically. So and they led by as much as 16, and LSU hung in there, but I think it was a real good win for Arkansas because LSU had been playing well. They'd won 4 or 5. They'd beaten Kentucky in Baton Rouge, and they'd gone to South Carolina and won just a shocking game. This one, South Carolina was playing really well. So LSU had some quality victories, and of course they already laid it on Arkansas pretty good, beating them by 21. And so I think that was a real good win for Arkansas's confidence. They did the senior honor stuff after the game, so you can imagine how awkward, bad, whatever you want to say it would have been if the players had. It was very quick, thankfully, because we're on deadline and everything. But you can imagine what that ceremony would have been like if Arkansas lost. And I give the fans credit. The ones who came out, a lot of them stayed for the ceremony, cheered on the players. Thankfully, it was very quick. I'm sure the players appreciated it. It was just a feel good night for Arkansas senior night. The seniors played a big role in the game, and I thought that was one of the better wins of the year.
Tennessee's the best team in this league right now, and I wasn't saying even close, but maybe there's a couple other teams that are playing well you could put up against them, but the kind of run that Tennessee is on right now, and that would be independent of whether or not they defeat Kentucky, because that's who they finish up against. Even if they don't win the SEC tournament, do you think Tennessee has done enough to earn a number 1 seed? There's a couple other programs out there. I think the number 1, 2, 3 top seeds are probably spoken for. Tennessee, I think right now has an edge on Arizona, Iowa State, maybe North Carolina too. But they look like a real contender.
Yeah, I mean, they've always played elite defense and been able to grind games out and frustrate the team, but they haven't been super effective on offense, and that's where Dalton Connect, transfer from Northern Colorado, I guess he's taken them to another level because they're a much better offensive team when he's in the game. He can just score in a variety of ways. Obviously, he's got a great jump shot, and he can go to the hole, and he just kind of glides in there. And he kind of had some Khalif Battle kind of games in terms of scoring earlier in the season. Now maybe teams are focusing more on him, and I think he's a pretty good passer too, and that frees up. He definitely creates shot opportunities for his teammates because he's going to get so much attention. But I really like. I think Tennessee should be a number 1 seed. I mean, the SEC is really good this year, and they've had some really good wins, and I think they're super talented. They've got older players. They've got I guess Connect's older, but he's a new guy, and they've got a lot of players who've been through the war, so to speak. And so I really like Tennessee as a team.
Bob, appreciate you on these Thursdays. Thank you very much. We'll revisit next week, okay?
Okay, sounds good. You guys take care.
Thanks, Bob.
Bob Holt, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. We appreciate his time Thursdays on Halftime.
You know how it's like Sir Elton John? Mm-hmm. It would be OG Bob Holt.
That's good. We have to get the president or maybe the British royal to at least sign off on that.
I don't know how one becomes a sir.
I don't know how one becomes an actually official OG.
Sir Paul McCartney. Well, Bob does. Bob knows. Bob's an OG. He's official OG. Yeah.
Matt, if you drop the moniker OG on somebody, it's like being knighted. It's exactly like being knighted. Okay, stay with us. We're into the home stretch of halftime. Much more in a moment.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free Just go to ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ziprecruiter.com/free.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Riley Farm Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
When you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. But you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
At A&P Auto Sales, we take pride in the way we do business. We focus 100% on our customers and believe car buying should be a fun, hassle-free experience. We will work with your budget and offer a dependable car at a price you can afford. Bank financing is available with approved credit, or cash is always accepted. Hop on over to 1202 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren and choose from a wide selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Contact us today at 353-1246 or check us out online at apautosales.net. Find your next car at A&P Auto Sales in Van Buren.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike
Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
Flu vaccines, both regular and high dose for seniors, are now available at Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith. Call 452-6116 to schedule your shot appointment. Usually there is no cost when covered by your insurance. Law's Drug has COVID vaccines, RSV vaccines for ages 60 plus. Pneumonia and tetanus shots are also available. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
When you want to get off the ride, shout when you want to get off the ride, shout when you want to get off the ride, 'cause you cross my mind, from 789, double time, I'm the only cherry on the fruit stand, right, I'm the only cherry on the fruit stand.
Welcome back to Halftime with Bill Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Bill Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
You know, one of the things I think, Matt, that is an exercise in futility and makes me kind of question why are we even doing this? Keeping standings for Grapefruit League and Cactus League spring training baseball games. Mm-hmm. They actually keep standings for this. I don't even know. Why would we do something like this? Why are we keeping standings for games that literally do not count?
Maybe it's the same reason Jake Paul gets to fight Mike Tyson. It's something that does not matter. He's not, because you use the analogy. You're having professional old dude on professional young guy, but it's professional old dude on amateur young guy, and so
Right.
it's he's not a real, like who if it wasn't for this flash or this pizzazz or whatever you're talking about, nobody would pay money to watch this dude fight. He's not.
Well, that's right. Out of the 10, I think it's 10 fights that Jake Paul has had. Not all of them are real pro fights. Like there's a difference between a professional fight that's actually going to count in somebody's record, and I think those are probably the fights where you don't have the headgear, and the exhibition, which was, I think Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. was an exhibition, which means it doesn't count on their records. I don't think Tyson's had a real pro fight since 2005. And I'm reading the story, because this fight is going to be in Arlington at the Cowboys Stadium, that it's up to the Texas Board of, well, I don't know exactly what the organization is, but they're the ones who, license MMA or any kind of combat sport in the state of Texas. So it'll be up to that commission whether or not this fight on July 20th is either an exhibition fight or a professional fight. If I'd be Tyson, be like, look, no thank you. We don't need to put this on my professional record. It's my record speaks for itself by now. But you're right. I mean, it'd be the same idea that's an exhibition. Every one of these baseball games is an exhibition, yet there it is on the Major League Baseball website, on ESPN. The Dodgers lead the Cactus League by 1 game over the Royals.
It's like preseason football, and I told you how the Jacksonville Jaguars, you had to beat the Colts in your division, to get into the playoffs, and that's.
Yeah, I mean that's the team that ran the division for all those years. So you look at it exactly the same way. It's like, well, if we're going to win this division, we got to beat them.
But the Colts would go 0-4 in preseason every year.
Yeah,
it's. But why do we?
Isn't
keep
it Baltimore that's
thing?
got some sort of a lengthy losing streak in preseason games? I think it's like 3 years in a row they've lost every preseason game.
I loved how LaDainian Tomlinson, his last, 6-7 years, he did zero preseason reps because there's no reason. I think Emmitt Smith even was one of the ones that he would hold out camp. They say a money issue, but you didn't need Emmitt Smith at camp. You don't need a 7-year All-Pro running back at camp. You just need to make sure he's there week 1.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure baseball's got to be different than that because you got to keep the arm in shape. You got to have a certain amount of throwing that you do on a week by week basis, certainly for pitchers, and they want to get those live reps because you can't simulate a live game situation, even if it's hitting against pitching against live hitters with fielders behind you. It's not the same thing if they're not from a different team and they don't know you quite as well, but. To me, spring training is more about the battles for this position or that position or who's going to crack the major league roster more than the final score.
Yeah, it's like the spring game. Every opportunity you go out there and there's film rolling and you're competing at a high level. I mean, you're being evaluated.
Absolutely. I was reading a text here, so I got off my little train of thought. What was I thinking of here? Exhibition baseball, preseason football, and the things this is what it was. I'm texting with Arns about this. He's a Red Sox fan. You do have a team that you would pick, Matt, that if you were to root for some baseball team, who would it be?
Well, I don't. My pops is a Redbirds fan, a Cardinals fan, so I guess my first game I went to, was a Cubs-Cardinals game. But no, I do not actually. I don't. I have a soccer team, but I don't have a baseball team.
Zach's a Red Sox fan, but he's over the Red Sox because they just kind of can't get out of their own way, make a lot of really poor decisions, and kind of started with trading Mookie Betts. So he's looking for a new team. For some reason, he texted me asking if I think the Pirates should be his team. Like, I would only wish that on somebody I don't like, on my worst enemy. And Zach and I may have had a run-in or two here or there, but we're not at that point anymore. And so I don't really, you don't want this. You don't want this, Zach. This is not something you really want to soak in for a while. If you think you're bitter at the Red Sox, becoming a Pirates fan is not another way to sort of like overcome the bitterness or find happiness. It just isn't there.
I would be an A's fan. They're about to transfer to Las Vegas. You can kind of get them in their last hurrah there. Their lame
get
duck
them when they're
season.
at their lowest, because this next year is going to be their lowest.
And when they get to Vegas, there's going to be an influx of cash. They're going to be better. You've seen what Vegas team? You go to hockey. Didn't they win it their first year?
I think they won it their first or second year.
I mean, Vegas squads are booming.
Between now and then, when the A's finally do get to Vegas, they don't even know where they're playing next year. Are they going to play in Sacramento? Are they going to split the year between Sacramento and Salt Lake? Will they split the season between two different AAA ballparks in Salt Lake, or will they just try to re-sign again at the Oakland Coliseum and play there a couple more years with sewage coming through the shower drains? It's going to be a miserable few years for that team. And I don't know if you saw, the A's released the drawings of what they want their new ballpark to look like. And it looks like the Sydney Opera House. I mean, it really does. It looks like the Sydney Opera House. Of course, Vegas is a desert and Sydney is anything but. I mean, it looks like it would be really awesome if they can find a way to pull this off. It's the roof would actually be the video board. I mean, it looks as futuristic of a ballpark as I've ever seen. Here's the thing, though. The A's still have released renderings of 3 other ballparks they were supposed to build in Oakland, and it never happened there. This is also an instance of ownership that can't get out of its own way. I'd be surprised if this ballpark is actually built to look the way that it looks right now, because it looks, well, I mean, remember the Roomba? Now, they actually built that thing. But I believed in the Raiders' ownership more than I believe in the Nepo baby that owns the Oakland Athletics, who made his money through, I think, the Gap. I think it's his family that owned the Gap and kind of started that whole thing. So I'd be surprised if that ballpark's ever built.
I saw some early propaganda for Razorback football season this year, and I thought it was funny that they still had Rocket Sanders doing a thing.
Where did you see this?
On the news, on the TV screen yesterday when you were I believe I might have been doing the post game show. It was somewhere in there, but they cut to a commercial. They had Dwight McLaughlin doing something, and they had Rocket Sanders, and they said, "Come get your 24." Your 2024 season, and you're just like, guys, how do y'all, a multi-million-dollar organization, and y'all are putting guys that aren't even on the team, and then a guy that's that went crosstown to South Carolina, and he's in there, and it was funny.
Did you just take a play from 2022 and move it to the promo that they used for last year and just use that little cut of it? You know, this happens really quickly sometimes. I think it was Isaiah Nichols that was on the UAMS radio ad on the Razorback Sports Network, and then he went into the portal, and you had to take that. You had to get that commercial off of the log immediately. You know, I think Jersey Wolfenbarger was on one of those ads too. Man, you had to look at that and think to yourself, what year is it right now?
Yeah, well, I thought maybe it was going to say 2023, and then it said, get your seat, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, okay.
JT says he's a Sox fan, but he thinks the Sox are going to suck. Well, if you think the Sox are going to suck, may I introduce you to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Go ahead and be a Braves fan, JT. That's what he says he wants to be. Mason says you should be a Braves fan, Matt, because they're going to be really good. Although I know Acuna had a bit of a knee injury, but I think he avoided a major knee injury.
Tim McGraw's a Braves fan, so
Matt's making a face.
I could never be a Braves fan if Timmy McGraw's I don't.
Tim McGraw should have never been a Braves fan. His father pitched for the Mets and the Phillies. What is he going to do? Those were division rivals of the Braves. He shouldn't have been a Braves fan.
He said, I haven't seen the Braves play a game all year. That's honey do this, honey do that. You ain't much fun since I quit drinking. I ain't seen the Braves play a game all year.
You think you're going to drop country lyrics on me and I get it?
Some of the times I just start talking and I don't even know where I'm going. I just kind of let it navigate.
That's why live radio is so much fun to listen to. JT and Laurel say, he reminds us, Isaiah Campbell was traded to the Boston Red Sox. So I hope he gets up there. I hope he will be up there because he stayed. He was up with the Mariners from about the middle point of the season to the very end, and he was good. So, I'm not going to root for the Red Sox, but I'm going to root for Isaiah Campbell. And Stan wants Zach to be a Yankees fan because they're the baseball equivalent of Notre Dame. You know what? That is exactly right. the Yankees are the equivalent of Notre Dame. Because what the heck have either of those teams won lately? Nothing. That's fun to think about. Well, you can get all your preseason Major League Baseball prop bets on right now on your favorite sports betting app. That's Bet Saracen. If you want to put a little wager on any of the championship week games that are getting underway right now, you got 7 conferences that are playing today in men's basketball. And you can also put a little money on Arkansas versus Auburn in women's basketball in the SEC tournament. If you've got the Bet Saracen app on your phone, they recently had a major update. Things look a little cleaner, a little easier to get around the app as well. You can download it on the Apple iPhone, on the Apple App Store, or on Google Play, or just log on to any web browser, and it is betsaracen.com. Stay with halftime. Back in a moment to wrap things up.
Supply issues are no issue at Shamrock Roofing and Construction. As one of America's largest roofing companies, we stocked up early and we stocked up big. We can do your job right now. And because we paid less for our material, we can share those savings with you. Call today or visit us at shamrockroofer.com. Attention homeowners, storms are firing up quickly and widespread damage means thousands are reaching out for the right roofing company. Don't wait. Get on the schedule with Shamrock Roofing and Construction now for quality and peace of mind. One call does it all. Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Call 479-319-5100.
Get ready to call the Hogs in 2024. Renew your football season tickets today and be there for the best home schedule in program history. Every voice matters, and we need Razorback Stadium rocking all season long from marquee matchups against Tennessee, LSU, Ole Miss, and longtime rival and new SEC foe, the Texas Longhorns. Season ticket holders, you can renew your tickets through the March 1st deadline. For more information about Razorback football tickets, visit ArkansasRazorbacks.com.
Do you need an oil change but don't have time to drop off your car? S&J Express Lube will let you sit in your car while they do the work, and it only takes about 15 minutes with no appointment needed. Prices start at $35.99 for a 20-point inspection service. S&J Express Lube is open Monday through Friday 9 till 6 and Saturdays 8 till noon. You'll find them at 14818 Highway 71 South in Jenny Lind. Check them out on Facebook too. S&J Express Lube, your authorized Castrol dealer in Sebastian County. They are waiting on you now.
Looking for a new piece of heavy equipment? Come on over to Sharp Equipment today and explore our latest offers and deals as a Wacker Newson dealer and a Cinnabogan authorized service provider. From excavators with the best-in-class breakout force to powerful skid steers, we'll be sure to find the right equipment for you. Stop in Central Hydraulics and see us at Sharp Equipment, located at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or give us a call at 479-242-1406.
It's the 3rd annual car show brought to you by McKenzie's Racing Supply. Bring your street rods, hot rods, and race cars from all area racetracks. Everyone is invited for a fun day of cars and music at McKenzie's Racing Supply, 1111 South 4th Street, Van Buren. Saturday, March 23rd from 11 to 1. Trophies will be awarded. Live music from the Jug Hill Annie Band. Sponsored by Scott Graham Performance Carburetors, Elite Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, American Towing, Phipps Chassis, and KR Promotions.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Subiaco and Scranton, if you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco and Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
I know we're always on the go, heading to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh-made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Through the faraway towns, now war is declared, and battle come down. London calling to the underworld, come out of the cupboard, you boys and girls. London calling, that don't look at us. Phony Beatlemania is putting the task. London calling, see we ain't got no swing, except for the rain and the crunch of pain.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Trying to feel like we've made it through just about everything I hoped we would make it through today. Just need to also double check if there's been any sort of announcement on baseball for tomorrow. You kind of obviously think I'd be surprised if we play, but they haven't made any announcement. So might be trying to see if the storms begin coalescing at some time tonight.
Let's go Ladybacks.
Yes.
Let's go.
And we got a game.
That's what we got going on. Yeah, let's go Ladybacks. Let's wait. I was kind of doing a 5-game stretch, looking at the Hogs and looking at Auburn the last 5 games, and you said it was a close game. 50-50. What are you giving the Ladybacks a chance to win tonight? What do they have to do, I guess? Do they have to stop somebody?
They got to pick themselves up off the canvas is what they got to do. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Auburn, you got to find a way to control Honesty Scott Grayson, who scores 18 points a game. They're not a high-scoring team. She handles the ball more than anybody else for that club. And she scored 27 last month against the Hogs. They won that game because Talia Scott went off and was incredible, and she's not here. So what do they need to do? Man, I mean, some of this has to do on Sailor Poffenbarger's availability or lack thereof. So that's a big thing that we'll know even before the game even starts. If Sailor's there, you got a shot. You got a really good shot. If she's not there, and I don't view this as any knock on anybody who's still on the team right now, but then you'd be down the player who basically beat Auburn for you. You'd be down your top rebounder, and as hard as Mac and Sam and Miriam and Jenna and Emery and Carly would play, there wouldn't be a lot of woman power there. So they need to find a way to pick themselves up off the canvas and fight a little bit here, you know. And even if they do fight a little bit, they're playing an Auburn team that has won 3 in a row and 5 of the last 6, and they've played their way into the tournament. Arkansas it's kind of been the other way around.
That's what I noticed. The form. Auburn seems like they're in form right now, so it's going to be tough. Arkansas is going to have to play collectively. They're going to have to play as a unit and play good.
They really will. They really will. They're going to need to hit shots from the outside, and it's a team that has struggled to shoot from the outside, which is a bit of a surprise. You know, they've been a volume shooting team from the outside, but 30% from downtown overall. Shooting 285 from long range in the league, and those are numbers that aren't going to win a lot of ball games. You know, and they have better shooters than I think the numbers show.
I say let the madness begin. You know, it's March Madness for a reason, and you just said it. You got to hit some shots. Let's go, Madness.
Well, the madness started yesterday. A lot of conference tournaments got going, and the games only get better and better as we approach the weekend too, because then you get a lot of top seeds that get the double bye that start their run tomorrow. Great stuff. And by the way, if the women's team doesn't win today, I won't be on halftime tomorrow because we'll be flying back. So there's another reason that I hope Arkansas beats Auburn so that I can do this award-winning radio show with you, Matt Jones, and with whomever is going to sit in the chair that Wolf is in right now. Yes. A nice, easy-going, down the middle, ought to be perfect to send us into Ruskin and Zach coming up in just a moment. For the Wolf, for Matt Jones, I'm Phil. Thanks for listening. That's halftime. Get up, Get out and get better.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all.